Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the 227th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. I'm your host, Steve Wellings. Joining me this evening, we have Adam Smith, Dave the Hater Lowback, Andy Patterson, and Tommy the Guru Allen. If anybody wants to come on, give us a shout. We'll hit you up with a link as soon as we can. Plenty of boxing over the weekend, guys. It was a real packed weekend of action. I enjoyed quite a few of the fights, actually. We're going to go to Terence Crawford later on. We've got a bit of Gary Russell, a few other bits and pieces, and then obviously the big Kell Brook against Errol Spence preview for next week, as well as Bellew of the Week and all those other things. Let's start off, shall we, in the Copper Box Arena in London, where Gervonta Davis knocked out Liam Walsh in the third round. The IBF World Super Featherweight title remains with Mr. Davis, Andy. To be honest, I felt a bit sorry for Liam Walsh afterwards when he was doing his interview in the ring, and he said, "I'm better than that performance." And he's right, Andy. He is better than that performance, but unfortunately, you know, we just have to say what we're seeing. It was a pretty poor attempt at a world title from Walsh, wasn't it, really?
To be honest, mate, it was. If you look at him, he has shown in the past he has got bottle and he can fight. But I just think last night he just tentative wasn't really the word for Walsh there last night. If you look at Davis, he's given up a wee bit kind of physicality, but at the same time, you know, when he let loose, it was pure missiles he was showing, and I've got absolutely no problems with the stoppage whatsoever. I can agree with. I know Bunce was getting a bit of shit there last night as well, but he got up. His legs were you know, they were gone. But at the same time, you kind of want to give him a chance. But I really thought Davis would have put it on him, and really would have knocked him out really bad. So I've got really no much problem with the stoppage. Walsh, you know, he is probably better than what he showed. I just think at the same time, if you look at Davis, he's really kind of anointed himself now as you know, as that kind of upcoming star, really. So Walsh, I really don't know what to say about him there last night, mate. In all honesty, it was really flat. It was really poor, but at the same time, he held back. He wasn't really kind of really willing to commit, and Davis just kind of like when he did let go, he caught him, and you know, really not much to say about it, mate. To be honest with you, just now.
I think he struggled with the speed. He admitted that himself, Tommy. Gervonta Davis, he was sort of, I wouldn't say he was toying with Walsh in the first couple of rounds, but he was having a look, letting a few jabs go, letting a couple of left hands over the top go, just seeing what he had in front of him. And I thought that Walsh would be hurt at some point in the fight, but I thought he would make it late, maybe even make it to points, Tommy. But as soon as Davis really hit him hard, flush, he hurt him, and he never let him off the hook. He finished him. You know, he just didn't let Walsh into the fight. It was a real championship class performance.
I thought he was different class last night. I came in the first round, they kind of felt each other out a wee bit, but if you go to maybe halfway through the second round and that, he started letting his backhand go, started landing the left and that a bit, and I thought really for there the right was on the wall for him. The speed was just too much. He was really quick. He bounced in and out. I was a wee bit disappointed in Walsh last night. I agree. I think he is underrated. There are a lot of people in that. I've seen people say in the past he's a British level fighter, but he's definitely above British level. I'm not sure if he's world class. I think the fights with Appleby at that point, obviously the first fight with Joe Murray, that was really close, and Scott Harrison was in between prison stretches at the time. I think that's pretty much showed us his level. He's a bit better than the guys in Scott at that point, but I wouldn't put him in the world class bracket. And Gervonta Davis, he's certainly going to be. I think he's going to be a big star. I couldn't speak highly enough of him after the Pedraza fight. I was really impressed with him because I like Pedraza. I think he'll win another world title, but Davis just went out and done the business last night. The speed was too much. I was a wee bit shocked at the guys at Box Nation kind of having a pop at the stoppage, especially Richie Woodall, because I thought that stoppage was absolutely spot on. He didn't stop it too soon. I think if he'd have stopped it after the initial knockdown, people would have said it's too soon. He let it ride a wee bit, and Davis came in, popped him in a couple of shots, and to me that was bang on. I really want to see, I put it on Twitter last night, I want to see Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko now. I didn't want to hear this, it's too soon or that. The guy's a world champion. They're the best two fighters at that weight, in my opinion, so I'd really like to see it.
I think just regarding the stoppage, Tommy, Richie Woodall, when I first saw the stoppage in real time, I thought it was a bit early, but then I watched the replays, rewound the telly, watched it back again, and I was wrong. It wasn't too early. He was all over the place. Some more trigger-happy British refs would have stopped him after the first time. When he was doing the chicken two-step, he could barely even stay still. I think the problem with Richie Woodall was, Tommy, he thought the same as me, but he wasn't willing to change his mind. A bit of stubbornness on Richie's part there.
It's maybe, mate, at the end of the day, everybody, we can all get it wrong from time to time. What happens to the best of us, and maybe that's what it was. I think you get. I didn't see. I thought Davis still won the fight well. I didn't expect. I really didn't expect him to put him away like that in 3 rounds. I'm not going to turn around and say I called it and that, because I didn't see that type of fight. I thought he would be winning the rounds early and he'd maybe put him away later in the fight. But I think you're maybe right about Mr. Woodall there, Steve. He's maybe just not want to admit he's been wrong there.
I think most of us said last week that was going to maybe go late and expected Walsh to come up late.
Aye. I did the way I seen it is I expected him to actually school him up to maybe 7, 8, 9 rounds and then kind of put him away, obviously breaking him down through the fight, but I didn't expect that in 3 rounds. I was really, really impressed with Davis again.
Hey to Dave Loback. Davis is really on the way to becoming a star. His mentor, his manager, promoter, whatever the hell Mr. Mayweather is at the moment. He's quite the character, Floyd, isn't he? He turned up in London and he was giving it the big un backstage, getting in the way all the time. Whenever Dave was looking over past his corner, it was to Floyd. Floyd is the main man there. Do you think he's a help or a hindrance, Mr. Mayweather?
Well, he's got to be a help in boosting Davis's name. He probably should have stepped up a little bit before. He didn't really. I mean, I guess it's fair enough that he didn't believe in him before he proved himself. But ever since he beat Pedraza, Floyd knows he's a beast, and he's really put his face wherever he can in front of the camera, and used his fame to boost. So it's partially a help. I think calling him a mentor is going a little bit too far. I mean, I'm not sure how much he's actually trained him. He was yelling like pretty basic stuff from ringside. And I don't see Davis really doing anything of what he said. I think that Davis's actual trainers are probably deserving of more credit than Floyd Mayweather is, for sure. But Floyd, as far as from like a business end of things, I think Floyd plays an important role in terms of just the exposure and being a big name. I was impressed with Davis. Really impressed with his inside work. He can fight on the inside, and that's like Walsh was trying to grab. And Davis was just too strong, and he would not allow it, and that was awesome. A lot of times you see fighters, they got a guy hurt, they let him grab because they're patient or because they can't avoid the clinch. But Davis was possessed last night. He shoved him off and just smashed him with left hand after left hand. Almost remind me of Pacquiao, the fight last night. They're actually about the same size, those guys. And I said a while ago that Davis is headed for 140 at some point, and I definitely believe that. And that's another reason I agree with Tommy. Even though he's very young, I want to see that Lomachenko fight because I don't think we're going to be able to see it too much longer. I think he's going to have to move up in weight, and I do think that size difference or that athleticism of Davis actually gives him a decent shot in the fight. After last night, I know Walsh isn't like an elite fighter, but that was such a good performance, and the physicality is so there that I would think that's a decent fight. I would still pick Lomachenko to win it, based on skill and pedigree and just huge experience. But Davis has a chance in that fight. I think, especially on the inside, if Lomachenko wants to hold him, and if he can. Hunt him down and get him against the ropes, bully him a little bit. I think that's all Davis's fight on the inside. I think he can rough him up for real. I mean, we've seen Lomachenko is not particularly good inside fighter against Salido, and he doesn't want to be there. So it would take a lot of work for Davis to corner him and bully him. But if he could do it, that'd be an interesting fight. It'd be like maybe a 70-30 fight, and I'm not really sure how it would play out. I did recently also rewatch. I couldn't get a good copy of Gary Russell's Escandón fight, so I rewatched Lomachenko versus Gary Russell this weekend, and that is a really underrated win. And it's actually pretty surprising how that fight even happened. I guess the Heyman team or whoever they thought that they had a man there who was not going to adjust properly to the pros after what they saw against Salido, and they sent Gary Russell in there. Thought, well, we'll get this great amateur fighter on our resume. Makes a bunch of money, and Lomachenko, That was a phenomenal performance by him. It wasn't the most exciting, but he schooled Russell Jr. Russell had his moments of success, and he fought well. I mean, fairly well considering, but it was a really great performance by Lomachenko, and
shocking scorecard in that fight as well.
Yeah, you had the Heyman judge in there giving him a draw, but yeah, I think that's his best win. And Gervonta Davis, I don't know, he'd be in for a rough night, but I would like to see that fight too. Ultimately, though, I do think he's headed up north.
Smido, Davis certainly looks the part anyway. He's a bit like Sam Eddington. He has a tattooed throat. I'm always a bit dubious about picking against anyone with a tattooed throat. But we do expect him to move up. You know, he's very tight at the weight and all that. But at times, Richie Woodall mentioned this as well. He said Davis does tend to lean in a little bit. But he's that quick with his head and his shoulders getting out of range. And Walsh just hadn't got the hand speed or the foot speed or the mental capacity to get in and make Davis pay. Obviously, a Lomachenko would make Davis pay. So I agree with the guy, Smido. Let's just throw Davis in with Lomachenko and cut the bullshit out. Cut out Corrales, cut out Bachels. Both very good fighters. But let's just throw Davis in against the best. Don't you agree?
Steve, we all agree, but we're all living in dreamland. There's no way on this earth that that Davis fights Lomachenko anytime soon. There's no way. I mean...
Smido knows.
But well, I mean, first thing I was going to say, hats off to Frank Warren. He has upped his game a couple of notches, not massively. He's not become a changed man this year, but he's upped it a couple of notches. And this was a big coup to get Davis over, not only because he's the champion and because Eddie tells us every week the IBF is 75-25 split, I think, for mandatories. He got him over, and he's come from the money team. Well, Frank on this occasion clearly had more money, so fair play for that. The walk-on was a circus. I says to the missus, even before the music starts playing, he looks like a female Michael Jackson impersonator. And someone on Twitter replied quite cleverly saying Janet Jackson then. But the best part about the circus for me was Davis's corner man that had a Bluetooth headpiece in throughout the whole fight. Quite enjoyed that. Quite enjoyed that. The problem for Liam Walsh is he's been rather inactive. And when you're going into a world title fight against an up-and-coming star, unproven until last night, and still maybe a little bit unproven going forward. But when your best wins are Joe Murray twice, Gary Sykes, Scott Harrison, and Troy James, you know, we're back to the same argument where we've got British fighters that are decent, but they're not fighting each other, so they're missing out a level or two. They're not fighting each other. They're possibly not fighting for the European, so they're missing out a couple of levels there. And when they move up in level, they get shown up. We see it all far too often. I thought, as has been mentioned, Davis's speed was fantastic. I thought very busy. He's basically just bulldozed Liam Walsh. He's not really. Walsh hasn't really had a chance to show anything he can do. And I think, as Dave mentioned, Davis worked over or around the clinch. He didn't let Walsh hold on or get close, and he's just bludgeoned him basically. I mean, that right hand over the top, that's not the best technique right hand you're going to see, but it sent Walsh's sensors scrambling early on, and he clearly didn't recover. I thought about the stoppage at the time. I was with you, Steve. It's going to sound like I'm copying you, but I thought at the time that it was a poor stoppage, and I tweeted as much, and I got it wrong. It was not a poor stoppage. Having seen the replay, because I think real time, you couldn't really get a full perspective of Walsh's legs, and they were doing a dance, and you couldn't really see that on the TV at the time live. When I saw the replay, unlike Mr. Woodall, I can easily put my hands up and say I got that wrong. It was a fine stoppage, and even Bunty said it could have been stopped a little bit earlier. I thought it was a good timing, but his legs were definitely gone.
Smido, tell me about the referee, because it was a big assignment for him, wasn't it? And just before the stoppage, I thought he was trying to grab Walsh to split them.
Agreed.
But he let Davis carry on punching. I wonder whether he just got caught up in the speed of world class. You know, this might sound strange, but at a British title fight, you might get away with tapping someone on the back, just pulling them apart slowly. He was caught out by the speed of the event, I think.
I agree with that, Steve. When he was first hurt, Walsh, as you say, Davis was swinging, going in for the kill, no problem with that. The ref did kind of half step in to break the action, failed to do so, and as a result of that, the fight was then stopped a few seconds later. So it would be a bit harsh on the ref, and we can come back to, you know, them later in the show. We're going to come on to a split second decision or split second combination, whereby the ref, whoever the ref is, you know, because obviously they're significantly older than fighters, they just haven't got the speed of thought to get in there themselves. We almost saw it a little bit last week with Eggington when he knocked that Spaniard out. There was a four-punch combination. 2 of those punches were completely unnecessary. No one could do anything about it. It just happened that quick. Possibly that ref last night is a Brit ref, yeah.
Yeah, it's
British
Michael
ref. Yeah.
Alexander, I think, from Doncaster.
Yeah. So he's like you say, he's probably not had too many assignments at that level, and maybe he got caught out a little bit last night. I mean, we've not seen any disasters, so we can't be too harsh on him. And ultimately, the stoppage, I thought I got it wrong at the time, but was absolutely fine on replay.
Thanks for that, Adam. Tommy, we've had a question in from George Ross, just looking at Davis's future. He said, if Lee Selby goes up in weight to fight Gervonta Davis, does he have any success? And Phil Smith got jumped in, Tommy, and he said Selby gets iced by Gervonta.
I don't know about that. I'm on the Lee Selby. I think I'm quite high on him. I think he's a good fighter. I'm not going to say that he's beat Davis or that, but I'm sure he'd put on a lot better showing than Liam Walsh did last night. Selby's supremely talented. He's a handful. I don't think he's an easy fight. There's an easy fight out there for him at the weight he's at the new, or the weight above. Maybe with the exception of Lomachenko, who to me said and shoulders above pretty much everyone. But Selby's a serious fighter. He gives anybody trouble.
Andy, George Ross also weighed in with a second question. He said, after that performance last night, I'm sure that Stephen Smith would stop Liam Walsh. Ask the pod if they agree. Do you think Smith has grit to him, says George? What do you think, Andy?
So is Walsh. You know, as I said, mate, I always go back to the Appleby fight. You know, he's been in the distance with Sykes. You know, Gary Sykes was okay at British level, I suppose. Stephen Smith,
similar levels, aren't they? Probably.
I would say if you make that fight, I would say it's 50-50. It's a really 50-50 fight. I mean, as Tommy says, it's levels. You know, I think, you know, the Smiths have proven. I would probably say Stephen's probably kind of like the cusp of European, but definitely British level. They're
the type of fights we should be seeing, but it goes back to what I said earlier.
Yep.
Both those fighters have fought to. I don't know. They've gone up to Division 1 or they've gone up to the Prem and been shown up pretty badly. But the pair of them. But there's a leap. There's a leap. So there's no in between. They probably are both in between. So that's why it'll be a good fight. But again, we've got the TV madness, so it's unlikely.
Hey to Dave, before we move on to the undercard, which I'm sure you're not interested in, I want to throw this one out to you from Niall O'Connor. We've been talking about inside fighting, we've been talking about Vasyl Lomachenko, so let's throw this question to you from Niall. Further to your comments last week that boxing on the inside is a dying art, which trainers out there at the moment or are coming through could teach a suitable fighter these skills to a high level, Dave? Niall goes on to say, could it take just one boxer being very successful with this style for a lot of other fighters to try and copy it, as people are doing with Lomachenko, to try and bring back being on the inside? Which coaches can bring back on the inside? Maybe Virgil Hunter, somebody like
that? I think Tommy Allen is going to be teaching that Nigerian how to fight. Yeah,
he'll show people how to fight on the inside, all right?
I don't know about Virgil Hunter. Like he wasn't able to teach Khan that much. Maybe Khan's a bad pupil. It's hard to say because who has Hunter had besides Ward that's really phenomenal? Yeah. Did Ward teach himself, or did Hunter tell him like how to fight so well on the inside? And Ward is probably one of the best old school fighters in the sport right now. As good as I thought Gervonta looked on the inside last night, he wasn't so much boxing him as he was overpowering him, and he showed that he still had good power on the shots on the inside. It wasn't quite as clever as something you see from Ward or James Toney in his prime. I really don't know. I don't know enough about trainers, honestly, or their styles or how they work in the gym. Give me enough time, how I could probably teach them to fight on the inside. I just need some study. I'm a decent communicator. I can do that. But no one's going to pay me for that. So I don't know. Does anyone else know of trainers and how they do things? Like, who's been to a big gym?
Well, I would always say that maybe if you go to what Bernard Hopkins says actually about, was it Bowie Fisher? He says like he was.
Yeah.
It's not really a trainer you need. You need a teacher, someone to kind of like really teach you, how to fight on the inside and stuff. And it's not really kind of like straight punches all the time or showing the right hooks and stuff. It's always, you got to learn how to survive in there sometimes. I again, like you, Dave, I really don't know how to train someone, especially in that type of art anyway. But if guys like James Toney, guys like Bernard Hopkins, I think these are the type of guys people need to be speaking to or learning from and stuff. They
Well, I don't know about James Toney. I don't know if you're going to understand anything that comes back from him, but Hopkins can definitely teach. Hopefully becomes a trainer.
It's a big difference between boxing and fighting. You see a lot of fighters now today, and I'll go back to what I said a couple of weeks ago. The amateur, the past year in the amateur, it was more fencing than it was anything else, wasn't it? It was tippy-tappy punches. And that kind of reflects the programming that now the wee fighters have came up. You're not seeing anybody fighting inside now, and when fighters do get pressured, a fighter does come on to them, they're not comfortable on the inside. You see them against the ropes will let them just fall apart. It's all about being comfortable, and they're knowing how to throw the short punches and stuff like that and keeping your composure. But it's really a dying art in the game, isn't it?
So it's always like one, where someone in the inside would basically kind of block a shot, slip it or ride it, and then come back with another shot, and just be able to stand in the pocket for people would say, so don't plant your feet for too long, 3-4 punches, then get out. You're talking about guys here who maybe fighting bigger guys like Toney, for example, against Yarov. He'd be on the ropes for almost fucking 70% of that fight, and he's just bobbing, he's weaving, he's slipping it, he's ducking it, he's swinging back. I think even Manny Stewart mentioned during the commentary of that fight, it was one of the greatest performances he's ever seen. It speaks volumes that a career middleweight stepped up. What is it, 40? Well, I think it was 190 at that time for cruiserweight at that time. So you're talking about good 30 pounds, 30, 40 pounds. I mean, it's, again, it's a dying art, as Tommy says, and it's not really trainers you need as such. Anybody can train anybody how to get fit.
It's experience, really, too, isn't it?
Exactly, mate.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of experience, practice, and in Tony was with the better trainers towards the end of his career. He'd already learnt a lot of these tricks. He was doing it early on. So is it amateur trainer we thank for that? Is it his second trainer as a professional? I think it's a lot of instinct, practice, and a lot of experience. And
a shitload of sparring.
If you look at the type,
that's what Tony
the fighters
did.
back in the day, right? Sorry, Dave, when you go.
Oh no.
Sorry.
As I was saying, right, if you look at the fighters back in the day and that, right, they were in the gym every day, they were fighting every day, they were sparring, so they weren't fighting every day. They were fighting every few weeks. They were in the gym every day. A fighter on that today, right? Will they fight? A top fighter will fight maybe once, twice, 3 times maximum a year. And when they fight, they'll go away on holiday and that. The fighters back in the day, they were just better fighters, they were fitter. You see the fighters now today, they're struggling to go 12 rounds and that. When the fighters back in the day were going 15, no problem. They were in the gym all the time, they were fighting all the time, they knew how to fight. They perfected their craft and that. The fighters these days, it's not the same. Boxing's not the same. The fighters aren't as good.
Guys could maybe go out there and fight maybe 3 weeks solid and stuff, maybe have 5-6 fights and that, but then they needed to kind of learn to survive sometimes because maybe they were fucked, maybe they were tired, so they had to learn to survive, had to learn to fight on the inside. So as I say, you look at the day scene, it's all about getting paid. It's all about fighting. There's AJ just mentioned it. Last year he fought, what was it, 4 or 5 times last year after he beats Klitschko this year. I think is that his first fight of the year. Now they've mentioned he's only going to fight twice a year.
Fight twice a year now, yeah.
Why the fuck that? Why the fuck do I need to learn to do anything? I just need to fight twice a year because I earn 30-40 million a fight. I don't need to learn fuck all.
Well, for AJ haters, that's a good sign because it means he's probably going to come unstuck sooner.
Well, I think see, to be honest, I think we had our chance with Klitschko. Apart from Fury, I don't see anybody else at heavyweight really beating him, knocking him out. He's proved he can get up. Wilder's not going to ice him, man. I don't see it.
Right, boys, let's move on. Before we go to the undercard, Smido, I want to hit you with this question from Luke at DabDabLoveBN. He says,
fuck off. That's Dab. He's a prick. Tell me fuck off.
He wants you, Smido, before he fucks off anywhere, to rate BT's first 4 shows out of 10. So the first 4 shows that BT Sports have done, we need to rate them out of 10. Now, don't worry, Smido, I've done the groundwork for you here.
Good.
I'm going to read them out. We've got the Manchester show, so let me read out who was on it, and then you tell me out of 10. So we had
Well, I was at that one.
Liam Williams, William Smith, Flanagan, Petrov, Capchel, Gethin, Kelly, Heffron, Barrett, Butler, etc. What about that one?
Flanagan was shit. The Walsh fight was good. I didn't watch a single second of Nicola Adams, even though I was in the arena.
5.
Maybe a 4 because they didn't sell enough tickets. I know people will have a go at me for saying that, but he didn't.
And the main event was just a complete shit ending. It's a shit ending. It was a decent fight, but it was a shit ending.
But can we?
Oh no, sorry, I meant the Flanagan.
Can we lower the score because of that, though? Because of that, Andy? Because on paper, Williams and Smith was actually a decent fight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good fight, yeah. It was a good fight. But it was the only good fight on there. That's what I'm saying. Martin Gethin shouldn't be in the ring at all. Flanagan was crap. Like I say, not interested in Nicola Adams. And that Dubois or whatever his name is, bowled a fat bloke over in like a minute. So
you're going for a 4, Smido, yeah?
I'm going for a 4.
Right, okay. Let's hit you with the Leicester show. This was Tommy Langford against Avtandil Kutsidze, Jermaine Smile against Darryl Williams, Woodstock against Holt, Tete against Villanova, Nurse drawing with Hughes, and then on the undercard we had Stalker, Yard, Blaney, Dubois, etc. Leicester show.
That's a 5.5, and I'll tell you why it differs from Manchester, because they had better matchups on there, so better, closer matchups. Maybe the names on the
that second fight you mentioned was a good fight.
Smiling, that was a great fight.
I'll go with 6. I've upgraded it to a 6.
A 6 there, Smido's upgraded it. Luke, right, let's go on to Leeds, Smido. Josh Warrington against Kiko Martinez, Dickens against Ward, Leather against Sutcliffe. On the undercard, we had Nurse, Ajisaf, Adams, and a few other guys. What do you think about Leeds?
I think that's a little bit worse than Leicester, so I'll go with a 5 for that. So we've got 4, 5, 6 now.
Leeds.
And finally, last but not least, Smido, last night, London, Davis against Walsh, Walsh against McCulloch, Hobbs against Yard, Pigford against Morgan. On the undercard, we had Reed, McNess, Mitchell Smith, Boy Jones, Sahota, and Daniel Dubois.
I'm going to give that, because of the work that's gone in to get the yank over, and the circus. Not that we support it, the circus that comes with Mayweather, but it did help. So I'll go for a 7. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 there.
That was probably his best show last night.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't like Yard kind of toying his opponent though, because you could tell he was levels above it, and a bit like Crawford the last night as well. There was no need for that shite.
You could tell. You could tell that Davis was enjoying trolling the fans. I think that whole get up. It might have been Floyd's influence, to be fair. When I said he's not his mentor, well, maybe he is in terms of getting that personality and building his brand. Davis didn't have as much of the swagger as Floyd. Like, he looked a little bit like sort of nervous, but you could tell that get up was trolling the fans. They were all pissed off.
It's only fair to report, actually, because I had a few tweets sent to me last night that apparently Floyd had something thrown at him last night. I think it was like, I don't know if it was beer or water, and apparently Davis might have been spat at. I don't know. Called a fat bastard. So
surprising.
Well done, guys. You're a complete utter embarrassment.
There's always an element, isn't there, Andy? Andy, you mentioned Anthony Yard against Chris Hobbs. Plenty of guts from Hobbs, not much glory. He was one of these characters, wasn't he? He kept on taking the body shots.
Oh man, he's going to be.
He was a cat on a mouse, wasn't he?
He's going to be He's going to be sore the next couple of weeks, trying to wipe his arse, coughing, sneezing, rolling over in bed, and all that type of shit. But I don't think he had a knockout, did he? On his record last night, and Yard is. If you've watched him over the last 3-4 fights, and that he's been smashing guys about, and I think that one in Dallas, he really laid the guy out, had with a left hook. I think he could have done it anytime he wanted. Really, he could have really stepped up. As soon as he put the pace on him, he could have stopped at any time. I just felt like he just wanted to play with his prey, work out a few things. I don't know if he did that. Go a few rounds. Maybe he wanted to kind of fill in some time for Frank, because if you think it, between the fight was a good 30, 40 minutes before the main event started.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was just kind of like trying to kind of drag it out. So maybe it was to your benefit. He didn't kind of really smash him in one round, but just kind of like gaze a wee bit of action as such. But You know, he moves up to the title level, I suppose. But you know, he's obviously levels above that guy, and it was really, you know, they could have been stopped at any time. It was just a mismatch.
And Walsh knocked out Marco McCulloch in the 11th round. A good friend of mine, Marco, is a nice guy, but he just wasn't up to it, unfortunately. Walsh, really good switch hitter, really good quality British champion, and he's got the Lonsdale belt. Can't quite move up Tommy to European level, but he's a good British level fighter, and Frank will get him more opportunities. Good performance from Ryan Walsh last night.
He was definitely solid last night. It's true. He's never going to get to that next level on that. But you know, there is fights in that out there for him. I didn't actually catch the whole fight last night. I tuned in maybe about, you know, like maybe about the fourth round or something. But it was, to feel what I seen, it was Walsh was handling McCulloch pretty well. And yeah, there's on to the next step. Maybe get my European title shot again.
Smitho, one thing I did like about Frank's show last night is that he's not afraid to put guys in who built their records to a certain stage. Joe Pigford, who I believe is one of his fighters, not sure about Aaron Morgan, both 12-0. They went in against each other. Pigford's defence, Smitho, is pretty damn awful, but he carried the power and he knocked out Morgan. Fair play to him. This was a good scrap.
It was a good fight, that. It was a good fight. And then there was that other lad on the undercard that had the Norwegian-sounding name. Oh, no, that was Friday. Shit, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. I'm watching too much.
We're coming to that, don't worry.
I'm watching too much Box Nation. Sorry, lads. No, that Pickford was a decent fight as well. Yeah, enjoyed the entertaining. Good. And it looked like he sold a lot of tickets last night as well, Frank.
That chin of Pickford, by the way, I'm going to say this. So that is on the route to a short career. Jesus Christ, he needs to learn to get that guard tight minimum and a bit of head movement. Just adopt something, mate. I don't care what you do, but just don't leave that chin in the fucking air, otherwise you're going to. What are you, 13, 14 fights or whatever it is?
13
fights. You'd be lucky to see another fucking 13 by the way. Jesus, I mean, the fucking chin that kid's got in him. I really did think he was going to get taken out at one point. But
how good would it be if Egginton moved up for welterweight and fought him, man? Fucking hell.
Fight to the death, that one, man. I would just make that a fight to the finish, you know, to like no mass or whatever, But no, but you know, I kind of felt sorry for Morgan there last night because he was really in that fight, and I was, you know, he put on a good performance, like he really did. I was really looking forward to it, but fuck me, man, it was a savage ending. Like it was that final left hook, that was just right up against the ropes, just buckled those legs, man. Poor bastard. Not as bad as the other guy last night against Beltran, mind you, but you know, fuck, it was cold. Slade.
Yeah, Pigford does sell a lot of tickets. Whenever I went to the Copper Box that time, the atmosphere was really good when he came out, and he does seem to be enjoying himself in there, but it's not conducive with a short career. Hey, to Dave, tell me about the heavyweights. Dave Lee isn't a fan of the big stiff idiot Daniel Dubois. He's only 19 years old, but he got this fight against David Howe, the big monster that he is. Did you see any of this one? It was a knockout in about 30 seconds.
I heard of Dubois, and I think I saw him before, but I didn't watch any of this undercard.
Dave Allen smashed him in the 2 rounds, did they know? What was BT were saying there last night about Dubois? They were fucking bigging him up. I forget what it was.
Andy, let me tell you, right, the thing is about Dubois, Frank's always saying, we're putting the blockers on this talk about the world title fights and stuff, and we don't want to rush him too quickly. And then afterwards he said his next fight is going to be against an 18-0 guy with 12 knockouts for a WBO European title. So he's moving up to 10 rounds. And I think, if I'm right in saying, Andy, Frank said it's going to be a top 10 ranking with the WBO if he wins this title. So Frank is clearly saying one thing, let's put the brakes on, but he's secretly trying to sneak it towards what I think is getting Parker over to fight Hughie Fury, hoping Fury takes the belt off Parker, and then try and put Fury in against this Dubois, who will be WBO ranked. What about that for a theory?
It's a big call, mate. I mean, is Frank going to put a guy like Dubois in? I mean, say it does happen. Say Fury does pick up the title somehow. Is he going to put Dubois in with Fury? I mean, he's maybe something like 8, 9, 10-0 at the time. I don't know. I'm trying to think. He said an 18-0 contender.
Yeah, that's what Frank said. He's got him scheduled to fight against this guy. I'm trying to bring his record up now, but they haven't got it on BoxRec. That's what Frank said, and it's going to get him a top 10. I think it said WBO heavyweight ranking. Why is he getting him ranked in the top 10 already in only his 4th fight if he's putting the brakes on him?
Oh, see, to be honest,
must be a top ranking with that title, eh? Can it be a top 10 ranking?
WBO European? Oh, mate, can it be? I mean, see, Well, the thing was always guaranteed. If you won a European title, that you were always going to get ranked in the top 10 with one of the bodies, usually WBC, right? But that's stretched. I mean, I don't know nothing about this guy apart from like when I saw him turn pro, right? And he's just been. I can't even comment on his opponents and that, other than that they're shit. And I know that guy last night has been ice off Dave Allen in 2 rounds and a couple of other guys. He's, why push him this early? I mean, it's.
That's what I'm saying, Andy. That's what I'm saying as well, Tommy. The point isn't that it's top 10, top 15, or top 20. Top 15 of anything at this stage in his career. Why is he being pushed towards that?
I just think they know how good the kid is and that for his like stories and that for the gym and that. I was watching a video with him the other day just before I came on the podcast, and he was talking about smashing it. It was really sick back. He was talking about smashing Josh up in the gym and that, dropping him and stuff like that. I think they know the kid's going to be really good, and that's so they're putting the hype behind him. Obviously, thinking that he's going to be something special in the future, but it's far too early. And he's only 19, so. I
was going to say, mate. I mean, as you say, Dubois is the type of guy who would benefit for like a career like Mike Tyson had in his first 17, 18 fights. Out every month. Got him
often at a certain level.
He needs to be fighting like for the next 18 months, at least once, twice a month.
Yeah, I think
I'd say wait a year. I'd say put him out maybe every show for the next year and a half. And they get a British title fight after that. British title, European, obviously natural conclusion to the Commonwealth and the world titles and that. That's
what Frank's saying, Tommy, and I agree. But I think his words and his actions don't seem to be matching up.
No. A few Fury wins that WBO title, he's going to be sitting there licking his lips, isn't he?
Yeah. Is there anything else from the show anyone wants to mention before we move stateside?
Yet.
Right. Let's move on then. We've got a couple of questions coming in. I'll try and deal with them while we have our next contributor in. I was thinking about going towards Terence Crawford. Yeah? Friday
night show, Box Nation.
I'm coming to that later. We need to go stateside, Smido, man. Let's get the big stuff in here. I need the hater in. I'm going to park Crawford and I'm going to park Russell, but I'm going over to Russell's show. Dave, I need to talk about this Andre Dirrell, Jose Uzcategui fight. I just have to get this off my chest, man. That absolute prick in the corner. Now, Dave, before we talk about this Leon Lawson Jr. and what he did, I want to talk about the fight itself, right? From what I saw of it, Dave, Uzcategui was winning the fight. It was close, but he was winning it. I thought he had Dirrell buzzed in about the 2nd or 3rd round. And at the end, now I might be a bit stupid, says you, but I thought that Uzcategui, the punch landed that knocked Dirrell out, quote unquote, on the bell. That's what I thought. And he was throwing a combination while the bell rang. And that last punch just came at the end of the combination. I don't think it was after the bell, like Al Bernstein said. I think it was right on the bell. So forget about what happened after it, Dave. What do you think about the actual stoppage itself, the disqualification? Hater.
He's gone. Steve, see if I can just jump right in for a second. You're 100% spot on, right? See anybody who's wanting to go what to do is go into YouTube, go to the knockout and slow the speed down, and you can actually see the bell is still sounding when the punch lands, when the left hook lands. It was right on the bell. It was right on the last B of the bell, but it was fucking on the bell. It was a legal shot.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realise Hater Dave had just left us there. Yeah, Tommy, I agree with you.
He's putting his dogs out, apparently.
Yes,
I thought at first it was after a bit and that as well. I seen somebody saying on Twitter and that if you go into YouTube and that, and if you slow the speed down it, you obviously you see the punch landing, you can still hear the bell going. That was a legal punch, and after it, man, Andre Dirrell once again, just an absolute disgrace, man. He was sitting up in that, and as soon as you seen the referee was on his side, he pulled the dying swan act once again. It was fucking terrible, man. He's not a fighter, that guy. Get him to fuck.
You're right, Tommy. I agree with you. I think that he's had his previous form with Abraham, which was slightly different, but this time I think he was behind on the cards. He thought, I don't want this anymore, and I think it was bullshit. I didn't like the way Bill Clancy as well. It had the reekings of a hometown referee. I don't want to call into question Tommy Clancy's credibility or anything, but it's just the way he was like, and then I said to Andre this and Andre that. It was all very pally at the end, and I was going to throw this guy out, this foreigner coming over thinking he can do these things, and then he said, congratulations, champ. I just thought it was a bit pally from Bill Clancy, the whole thing.
Nah, it was, man. That was definitely, it was a hometown. But you see, I'll go back to the Abraham fight again. I thought it was exactly the same in that fight as well. You know, he was winning the fight early, and then he got ordered a knockdown, and it wasn't a knockdown. The left hook came and it landed on his shoulder, and Abraham slipped. Now Abraham dropped him heavy a round or two later, and everybody could see it was a knockdown, and it wasn't counted. You know, and if that's a 3-point swing in the fight, the way that round was scored, that's a 3-point swing. Abraham was coming on in the fight, and that, you know, Dirrell bitched it, and I was just saying yesterday, if you go through the fight, that the guy was beating him up. He was hurting. I thought he hurt him a couple, 2 or 3 times. He definitely buzzed him in the second round, like you say. And Dirrell just looked for a way out of that fight last night. There's no other way to cut it. That's an absolute disgrace, man. And you feel bad for the opponent, because that was him last night, probably going to get a shot at a title and that. And he's just back to being an opponent fighting for peanuts again. It's not right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're definitely going to feel bad for the opponent. Everyone's going to have their chance for a say on this, Tommy, but I'm going to come to you first on the aftermath. This is a time for cool heads, and there weren't many cool heads. At ringside, straight away, we start seeing trouble. Little Anthony Dirrell looking a little bit podgy, I must say. He's seen throwing a punch at like an elderly-looking security guard. There's this guy with dreadlocks who I believe is the other Dirrell brother who doesn't box. He's getting escorted out the place. The place is going absolutely wild. They think they have this divine right to get into the ring all of a sudden. It's an absolute recipe for disaster. Security were right not to let these guys in. And then this absolute cunt in the corner goes up to Uzcategui, and the worst thing was, Tommy,
I was trying to avoid saying his name. Fuck.
If he was gonna come in, Tommy, and like start pushing him and start punching him and make it clear he was coming to fight him, I wouldn't have minded so much. If he'd have come in and gone, "Oh, you motherfucker," and started throwing punches at Uzcategui, that would have been okay. It was the fact he stood there and he was like as if he was debating with him, and then he just pulls this sucker punch right out the blue. That is the ultimate bitch move, man.
As man, it's sniper him, didn't he? You know, you can see him walking over, not even looking at the guy. You knew exactly. You knew it was on his mind when you watch it back, man. He just went earlier and sucker punched him. That's no different for James Butler and
Richard Grant.
Yeah. What's that, mate? Richard Grant. Aye, when he sucker punched him after that, and Butler got jailed after that. You know, and he was fighting him. This guy's got to jail, man. That was fucking absolutely disgusting. I'll tell you something, by the way, Dirrell, he should get fucking banned for that. That's a member of his fucking team coming in there and pulling a move like that. He should get fined in that as well for that. I want to see them all get fucked. I just want that family boxing.
They are
the Mongol brother as well. Get him to fuck.
Go ahead, Andy.
They are the Smith brothers of the fucking America, eh? They really are, man. Smith
And
family.
They bitch about everything, man. See Andre Dirrell right through his career, man. Just watch, he's bitched about everything. He talks all this tough way and that, right? And when he gets in the ring, he runs it. He's not a tough guy. He talks like a tough guy, but he fucking runs away. He throws his cell on the flare. He fakes injuries, man. That's it fucking really bugs me, man, eh? If you're going to talk like a tough guy, at least fucking fight like one.
Andy, the Showtime commentary team was saying, they're annoyed at ringside because they can't get in to tend to their brother. They weren't part of the corner team. They weren't fighting. They were just ringside observers. They had no right to get into the ring to attend to their brother. Security were right to stop them.
To be honest, mate, I never saw. This is the only fight I've not seen this weekend. All I've seen is the sucker punch. As what people say. I mean, at least if you're going to go up and do it, man, at least fucking stare the guy in the fucking eye and say, "See you're a prick. You're claimed or whatever."
Yeah,
stick your head in him, show the punch. You know, create something. For what I understand, it almost created havoc in the crowd as well. I mean, it just basically shows you, you know, the guy is a complete coward. Okay, you stepped in there, you did what you did. Okay, fair enough, right? Take the consequences. What'd you do? You ran off like a little bitch. You know, the cops have probably got a statewide manhunt for you. You're going to go to jail, right? But see, rather just avoid all jail and stuff like that. Just send them into a room with Uzcategui for 5 minutes, and that's it sorted. 5 minutes, and that's it done.
Uzcategui showed some chin, didn't he, taking that left hook? It was brutal.
He didn't even flinch, did he?
Fair play to him. He showed some resolve as well. I suppose he thought to himself, these are absolutely.
He showed some class. He showed some class and resolve. You know, if it was me, I'd have fucking went for the guy. If it was me, got caught like that. But you know, fair play to the guy. But you know, on the fight itself, I never saw. I mean, was he getting beat, Dirrell? Was it? for what you guys are saying,
he was losing the fight. He'd kind of fiddled his way back into it, but Uzcategui was still on top. He'd hurt him in that a couple of times. He was landing the better shots, but Dirrell had fiddled his way back into it a bit. But at that point in that, again, when in the round in that, there's no who was on top, eh?
Well, I created a bit of pressure on Mendoza yesterday, so maybe we should do the same for the IBF. What do you think? Maybe get a rematch arranged?
Hopefully so. Yeah, I don't know.
IBF interim title, man. That's a strange belt to be seen as well, eh?
You noticed something, the IBF never used to create interim titles until about Lee Haskins was the last one to pick one up. And then I think they've created 2 or 3 since then, eh?
There's really no need for it because the game's an active champion, isn't it?
It is.
Yep.
Well, active by modern standards at least.
Well,
exactly. Right.
Despite the horrendous behaviour by much of the Dirrell family last night, I ran a poll on Twitter, worst boxing family, the Smiths or the Dirrells, and with 210 votes in total, the Smiths have received 70% of the votes, so they are still more hated, which just shows how deep-rooted the hate is for the Smiths in this country. What I would say about Dirrell, he's never been the same since he ran from the Cobra for 12 rounds. He is a disgusting cheat. That was last night, sitting up on his knees, having a conversation and then going back down. It is disgusting. It's the stuff that's turned people like me off football, and we shouldn't see it in the boxing ring. And then
Bernard Hopkins has got better acting skills actually. Yeah, I've seen a bit of it, right? And to be honest, Hopkins when he bailed out the ring against Robert Allen and Chad Dawson, and I think there was one other. He
tried it in his last fight.
He tried it that way. He tried it that one night. But he was, at least he had a bit of acting skills about him and that. He knew when to stay down in that. That last night you said, mate.
Another Hopkins, another one of the tough guys. That tries to bitch out and that. If you're going to talk tough like that, then you get in the ring and run away, get in and fucking fight.
It's just pure cheating. It's just pure cheating and milking it. He didn't want to fight Andre Ward for all that time because he's his friend and he's in a goddamn wheelchair or whatever it was, and he was being assessed. Just get rid of him from the sport. I'm not interested in what he does.
I think the question is as well, Smido, when Callum Smith eventually fights Anthony Dirrell, if we see it, who are you going to want to win that one?
That's a great question. I would still personally want Callum Smith to win that fight, to be fair, but I don't know. I mean, I know TJ keeps the count going, but how many days is it since Callum Smith fought for a world title eliminator?
Like 400 now.
No, it's more. It's a lot more.
Is it?
It's a lot more. It's like 800. Yeah, it's 800 and odd.
I think it's actually more, but we'll get this right. Is it not actually more than it took Miguel Cotto to defend the middleweight title? I believe it is actually. That's not even a fucking joke. It's probably even.
It's about 3 years anyway. You want it?
But double fucking. It's about double.
It's not 3 years. I'll not be kicking the ass off it.
Aye.
As far as I'm concerned, Cotto never held the middleweight title.
Dave.
So I'm here.
No, don't.
What I'm hearing is we're not going to be seeing the Dirrell fight anyway. It's going to be fucking James DeGale and Callum Smith next year. That's pretty much a done deal.
I heard that too, Tommy. I don't know what the hell's going on, but anyway, hey to Dave, tell us about this Dirrell thing. I saw the trolls are out on in the internet on YouTube. One guy earlier had Dirrell nearly robbed something like he comes back with cornerman justice. I mean, that's the type of bullshit that we're seeing. There's no justice there, was there? It was just blatant sucker punch.
Yeah, there are some idiots out there defending that uncle for throwing that sucker punch. I got to nominate one for Belly of the Week later, but I mean that was a poor performance from Dirrell. He was not offensive enough, as is frequently his problem. Uzcategui looked pretty good. I would have liked to see that fight reach natural conclusion. I kind of hope we see a rematch of it. And I hope that Uncle Dirrell ends up in jail.
That's the only place for him, I think. Andy, tell me this, the answer to this one from Tommy Roosh. We've already mentioned a couple of these, actually, but what do you think? After the Dirrell's uncle's cheap shot, what are some of the worst ones that have ever happened? Bo versus Larry Donald is Tommy's. We mentioned Butler against Grant as well. The worst sucker punches in boxing.
Who was it? Did Barrera and Morales not get into it?
Aye, Barrera and Mirage. I can't remember who threw the first punch, but they started trading, they didn't, in the presser.
Remember Larry Holmes jumping off that car, eh? That was fucking tremendous, man. That was brilliant. Fucking right up top, it was like a cop car, run right out of the bonnet, up on the roof and drop kick off the bonnet. That was fucking brilliant.
You've been watching too many Chuck Norris movies or something.
The other one was
Benton here behind.
Mike Tyson by Lennox Lewis. That's the other one I can think of off the top of my head at the minute.
You got one, Dave?
No, he didn't just start a brawl there. He bit him on the thigh. Disgusting.
Yeah, that's right. Floyd against Ortiz, anybody?
Aye. I can't blame Joe Ortiz more for that, but that wasn't a great sportsmanship for me there, was it?
No.
At the same time, fuck Ortiz.
Yeah, he quit in that fight. He tried to challenge you just like Dirrell did last night, but it didn't work for him.
No. Right, let's move on from that fight. Hey, to Dave, you said last week, were you defending Escandón, saying he was good, or were you one of the people who were saying he was shit? It turns out he wasn't the best, although Harvey Doc maybe should have let him carry on a bit quicker.
You broke up there, Steve. Who were you talking about?
Oh, sorry, I was talking about Gary Russell against Escandón.
Oh, yeah, well, it went down pretty much as I expected. Escandón is like a reasonably tough, but ultimately trash, one-dimensional, slow fighter, and got his ass handed to him. The fight was kind of stupid to make. I mean, the only good thing is that Russell's active, and he better fight at least once again this year. I still like his younger brother, I guess, is Gary Antoine Russell. I still like him better. I liked his showing in the Olympics. He wanted to fight. He got robbed for sure against that guy. He was that they said he lost to. He was the one who pushed the fight. He's aggressive, and he speaks better outside the ring too. Like, he actually cares about the sport of boxing instead of just, yo, I'm probably gonna look good again. I wish my brother was here to see this. I was
talking to Xanax Dave was boring.
No, that's Xanax Gary Russell Jr. I mean, he's just not. He doesn't really offer anything except like some flash in the ring, and it's just so few and far between. It's not enough.
Anybody else want to comment on this one? Were you happy enough with the stoppage, everybody? The writing was on the wall, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was on the wall, mate. I mean, after about 5 rounds, I started then kind of fast forwarding through it. It looked pretty much repetitive. I think just Russell's hand speed was different class. He stood I thought he stood in the pocket for fair chunks. I don't know if Escandón had no power him. I don't know. I don't think he bothered him. But if you look at it, I think Russell, like, he was a division, bigger than him anyway, regardless. I just noticed actually one of these. I was just reading through boxing scene. Actually, did anybody catch the Bartholomew Relic fight? Apparently, those scorecards were meant to be another fucking shit fest.
No, I couldn't find it on YouTube.
Another WBA sanctioned fight as well.
No, I didn't manage to watch that one. Anyone Bartholomew against Relic or any Russell Jr. Escandón comments before we move on to Terence Crawford? Smido?
Nope.
Guru? Take that as a no. Right, let's go on to Terence Crawford against Felix Diaz. Beltran against Marcelo was on the undercard. I've heard that it was a bit of a brutal finish. I haven't actually seen that one. I made an amateur mistake last night. Instead of recording Terence Crawford against Diaz, I accidentally recorded Crawford against Hank Lundy, which was on from 1 till 2 a.m. So much to my chagrin this morning when I woke up, so I had to go over and watch it on YouTube. Tell me, Andy, about this fight. Crawford, I thought, was absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. He blows hot and cold in my estimation, but he broke the guy down for the first 4 or 5 rounds. He just worked him out. He worked the jab. The jab was just beautiful. It was just bang, bang, bang. The speed, the accuracy, the power. He just worked him and worked him and worked him until Diaz eventually just started to feel sorry for himself, started to go into his shell. He knew he had nothing to offer that could beat this guy. Yeah. And Crawford just went and knocked him out. I thought it was a really, really good performance.
Diaz tried at least,
He did.
I think he knew he wasn't going to win the fight at mid-distance. He knew he wasn't going to win the battle of jabs. Crawford came out, southpaw straight away. So obviously, I don't know if he was expecting to come out orthodox, but he must have prepared for him to come out switch hitting regardless. But I think Crawford stayed southpaw for most of the fight, or maybe the entire fight. But I think at one point during the fight, he decided, look, I've got to go forward because I can't beat him in a jabbing contest. He couldn't beat him, for terms of hand speed. He did catch Crawford a few times, I suppose, but anytime he did try to come at Crawford would catch him on the way in, and he would be out of distance, or he'd spin off to the side or whatever. Sometimes there was no need to kind of take the piss out of the guy. I mean, I don't mind it as such. What I would mind is a guy like Kovalev, a guy who's going to fucking okay, I'll take the piss out of you, I'll fucking hip thrust you, and I'll just come at you and I'll just want to savage you and just absolutely just melt you to the canvas, But Crawford's not like that. He just basically tip tap, we pity pat here and he'll jab and he'll throw a good shot in. But other than that, it's a wee kind of gripe. But it's just I don't like to see that type of shit. If you're going to do that, I'd rather be a nasty prick, a guy like Tyson or Duran or whatever. And that's just someone if I'm going to take the piss out of you like that, then I'm going to make sure I'm going to damage you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to fucking just kill you basically. But other than that, it was a decent enough fight, I suppose. Crawford would be expected to do what he did, I suppose. But fair play to Diaz. He did try. He kind of try and mix it up a wee bit, and he just came up short. But just maybe proving that Diaz he's a really good fighter, but I think he just kind of really cements the fact that Crawford is in fact a level above, and is probably is elite level.
Elite level. Sorry, Andy, I was just reading Twitter there. I think I made a bollocks up with the Dubois situation. I think it's maybe Anthony Yard they're looking to put in next for the European title or something against this 18-0 guy. So ignore all that I said. That they're obviously not pushing Dubois on. So apologies for anybody if I misled you with my bullshit earlier. I hope everyone can find it.
Oh, Chris, I'll be getting inundated with complaints tomorrow, mate. But
do forgive me.
Well, see if you look at I just got them up there, the rankings for WBO. Apart from Beterbiev and Kovalev, maybe Gavodsk, Pascal. If you want to put a good measuring stick, put him in with Pascal. Joe Smith's ranked. Robert Stieglitz, Eric Soglund. I mean, there are a couple of good European level opponents that he could put him in right now to see where he's at. Stieglitz and Skoglund being two of them. Shawnee Monahan's in there as well, so.
Yeah, definitely push your Yard on, but not Dubois as quick as I was maybe anticipating. So yeah, apologise for that. Right, hey to Dave, have we got you in on the Crawford fight yet? I can't even remember. I'm losing track now.
I haven't made a comment on this podcast about it, but I watched it live. It was beautiful, beautiful performance by Crawford. I kind of agree with Andy. I didn't like necessarily the bullying. But it's a rough business. I'm not going to complain about that too much. I just wish that if he was going to do that, if he would just do a little bit more damage while doing it. Though he did certainly do plenty of damage. I'm happy to see that kind of showboating bullying against some kind of asshole like Brunner. If someone was doing it to him, it would be hilarious. But Felix Diaz is a good, honest fighter with a ton of balls, and he tried his ass off, and he has a hell of a chin too. He took how many clean on the chin as he was coming in. I mean, most guys would have been on it. Most guys that size or even bigger probably would have quit or been knocked out by then, at least knocked down by some of those shots. Diaz took him, and his face was really showing the damage by the end. I actually thought his corner could have pulled him out around ahead of time. It looked like they were thinking about it, but I'm thankful they did ultimately, because it was kind of becoming unpleasant to watch. Just seeing, because Diaz is a good fighter, and he doesn't deserve that, and it's going to take a couple fights off of his career, and I hope we can see him again too, because he's damn good. But that was a hell of a performance by Crawford. One thing I didn't like early on from him was he was letting his right hand low. He fought the whole fight southpaw, and he had that right hand very low, sort of like Sweet Pea. He's often been compared to, some people said he's the next Sweet Pea. But he got tagged a couple times by some wild hooks. Thought he might have even been shook up a little bit when he tried to hold on in the second round. Against certain fighters, that could be a problem. He was able to avoid most of everything Diaz had, but Diaz was also a pretty short-armed guy, so he had that advantage over him. And I'd hope he would just be a little bit more defensively responsible with that right hand in future fights.
I don't think there's any challenges left for him really out there at 140. I don't think we're going to see the best in dudes at 147. Apart from maybe Ndongo or Lipinets, I don't think there's any other fights I really want to see him at 140 at the minute.
I agree. I don't think that Ndongo fight is necessary. I think Crawford would handle him. I mean, Ndongo's a little too raw and unpolished for Crawford. I mean, probably more than a little too raw and unpolished for Crawford. I say let Namibia fight over 140. Yeah? Hopefully, Ndongo.
Dave, what about the history? You know, looking back on BoxRec in 20 years' time, you want to see if he's got all the jewelry at that weight.
Fuck the jewelry. You know, he's
all the belts, baby.
Because I mean, I guess it means something, but all the things are crap anyway. I mean, what the value for me is in who you beat, and he's beat pretty much a who's who of that division. He hasn't beat Broner. I mean, does anyone think he couldn't beat Broner?
Yeah, but the thing is, Broner's not got a division, though, is he?
Nah, Broner's got to beat welterweight now, isn't he? He's not going to go back to 140. He's too fat.
Broner either goes to welterweight or to the grave.
That'll be a nice step up to welterweight fight for Crawford. You know, I would love that. But yeah, I mean, who else does he have to beat at 140 to prove that he's the man there? I don't care about getting some paper belt. Honestly, I think it's time to move up to 47. Get some of the big names. He called out Thurman and Pacquiao. Let's see those fights. The Pacquiao fight, I think he would beat Pacquiao at this point.
Yeah,
it was encouraging to hear Bob Arum talk about Pacquiao last night as a future Crawford opponent. I think Bob's maybe.
That's what I was going to ask you actually, Tommy. Does that make it? Say if that fight did happen, does it make it any more in Crawford's favour and Pacquiao's favour? Does that have any bearing on the fight, the Diaz performance?
Nah, Diaz is a good fighter, right? That's what I said on Twitter last night. He's a good fighter, but there's a difference between being a good fighter and an elite fighter. Terence Crawford's definitely an elite fighter. If you look at his fights with Granados and Peterson now, I'm not going to dispute who won the fights, but that's the guy's level. Terence Crawford is obviously a level above the guys, a level or two above them. There's nobody going to touch it. There's nobody going to touch him at light welterweight. He's going to hate to go to welterweight. I think he'd probably beat Manny at this point. Now, Manny's obviously seen better days. It'd be a different fight 3 years ago. The fight we're obviously all want to see him in is going to be Keith Thurman, isn't it? And that's a name we mentioned last night. I think that's a fight we want to see. And obviously we've got a really big fight next Saturday in the welterweight division between Brook and Spence. So these are the guys. I'd say Pacquiao, Thurman, and the winner of the next week. That's a fight Terence Crawford's going to have to be in. He's going to be too quick for Ndongo. There's nobody at that weight, and there's nobody anybody at 135. I don't think Mikey Garcia is going to be. He's not going to be big enough to come up and pose himself on Terence Crawford at 140. I know he's a good fighter, he's an accurate fighter, but he's going to be too quick. He's going to be too quick for him as well. Crawford's future's at 147, and it's hopefully going to be Thurman, Pacquiao, and the winner of the next week.
And Thurman's too inactive at the moment, isn't he, Smido? I mean, he seems to have some kind of arm injury. He only fights once a year.
Yeah, I saw that picture the other day.
Had surgery.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Go ahead, Smido. What do you think about Crawford against Diaz as well?
I just think he was excellent once again, as always. He has been fighting predominantly southpaw the last few fights. There wasn't much switch hitting went on last night. I think that when he was getting into a bit of a firefight with Diaz, maybe he felt the Diaz's power earlier and thought that he could survive it, fair enough. But I thought in the 6th and 7th, when they was both swinging at the same time, Crawford was eating a few more punches than what we're used to him seeing. But again, like I say, he probably had already felt the power and felt comfortable in doing that. I think it probably should have been stopped a couple of rounds earlier, not by the ref, but possibly by the corner, but definitely by Crawford. I think Crawford should have stopped the fight himself. In the rounds 8, 9, and definitely the 10th, it was only one combination away, or 20 seconds away from calling it a day, from the ref stepping in. Diaz was feeling sorry for himself. Crawford was starting to take the piss, and he was just like an animal, really, just walking him around the ring. Diaz wasn't doing anything, and when he got into the corner, I was like, go on then, Crawford. Lay it on him, finish the fight. But I think he was more interested in just, pissing about, tapping him on his head, looking for the perfect punch, trying to roll him from one side to the other, doing a couple of dance moves. I just wanted to see Crawford put it on him in the 8th and 9th. I thought for some time that he would beat Pacquiao, and all last night did was reaffirm that view. I think he beats Pacquiao, to be honest. And I don't. But last night, at least Bob Arum last night, at least hinted towards the fight actually happening. I know he has a little bit before, but it was one of them. Arum's cash cow from this year, or from this century, should I say? Does he really want to cash him out and hand over the torch? I've not believed he wanted to do that, and I think but we'll see what happens.
Okay, we've got a couple of guests on the line before we carry on with the reviews from the weekend. I think we've got Harry and Callum. Harry, what's happening?
Hi, guys.
Not too bad. How are you?
Is that Callum Smith?
What's your surname, Callum?
Thompson.
Callum Thompson and Harry Woods. Harry, you first of all, you're a light heavyweight with 72 amateur fights. Is that right?
Yeah. Boxing was 11. Like,
have you been in with any recognisable names that we might have heard of?
I won the English title this season, and I boxed Tom Hart, who was on GB. I boxed him 3 times. Like.
And what about the your favourite fighters over in Liverpool, Tony Bellew and the Smiths? They're mixed reception for those guys around the country. What do you think of them?
To be honest, I quite like them. To be honest, I think the Smiths come across quite well in that, and I know Bellew's like a bit. I know Bellew can come across sometimes like. I think they are quite good for boxing and that.
And did you see any of the Box Nation card over the weekend? What did you think of it?
Only little bit, to be honest. I thought that Davis was good. I know obviously Dubois and Diaz as well. They were the only fights I saw, to be honest.
What do you think about Dubois? Do you think he'll go far?
Yeah, he's a good amateur, so I reckon he'll go quite far, to be honest.
And Callum, if you want to jump in there, I think you made the senior ABA final this year.
Yeah, it's first year in them this year.
What weight was that at? Callum, what weight did you box at?
Lightweight, 60 kilo.
And what did you think of the card over the weekend, Walsh against Davis?
Yeah, I thought Davis looked impressive, like his power and stuff.
Do you think he's going to get to the level of your mate Floyd? Is there anything else you want to add, guys, before we move on? Harry, is there anything else you want to... they've dropped off anyway. Sorry about that. Right, let's move on, shall we? Right, Rob Kelly's joined us on the line. Rob, what's happening?
Rob Star, how's it hanging?
Yes, Rob.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, Rob, am I glad to hear you? Rob, what do you think? What do you think about this Davis against Walsh fight? Did you enjoy it? Did it not go long enough for your liking?
Yeah, I kind of said last week I thought Davis had hit him with the dazzling stoppage. I did think it'd be a little bit later. I thought the stoppage was bang on. By the way, he was out of there. Like, if you look back at it, Davis had hit him with 7 left hands in the sequence to knocking him down, and then hit him with another 3 left hands before he even looked like he was going to put his hands up just before the referee jumped in. So I don't know what Richie Woodhall was on about. You know what? I've lost so much respect for Richie Woodhall ever since that, that get together that they had with the middleweights with him and Roy Jones and all that. Like,
yeah.
And he was all dewy-eyed looking at Roy saying, did any part of you remember that kid that you beat in the Olympics? And you could tell Jones was looking at him like, oh, that was you. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know. But anyway, the stoppage was bang on. I like Davis. I watch him again. I think he has a bit of the dog in him. I noticed last night in his fighting style that you could tell that Mayweather's been around him a lot more and training with him for this camp because, the backhand lead that he was kind of throwing and jumping across the ring, that's like a Mayweather speciality. Obviously, he had the shoulder roll, but I don't know, like, if his career, people are calling him the new Mike Tyson. I don't know where they're getting that from. I don't think he has any similarities to Tyson's style whatsoever, but I wonder, does he have similarities to Broner's style in that he's beating up guys if he's tight at the weight, what he might look like with that style as he goes up. I think he has better feet than Broner. I think he definitely has better feet than Broner from what I could see, but I don't know if Walsh is that type of fighter that's going to bring out that in you. Walsh's performance was, I think he got buzzed in the second round and thought, you know what I mean, try and bring him into the later rounds maybe, but it wasn't to be. And that's what I like about Davis too. He's a finisher. So if he gets his man gone, he's trying to get him out of there. He was just, you know what I mean? I've seen him in other fights too when he does that, and he definitely carries power at the weight. The talks of Lomachenko, I think Lomachenko schools him right now. I think he schools him. I don't think he can touch Lomachenko right now, but I understand why people want to see it. Why not? Like it seems like boxing at the moment's on a bit of a hot streak. We're starting to see fights that we want to see. You know, we're getting the War Kovalev rematch. We got Canelo and Triple G. We've had, like, you know what I mean? We're getting Brook, Spence. We're getting all these fights being made. So maybe match him up there. I think 135 is pretty stacked at the moment for him. Maybe they might try and keep him at the weight. I enjoyed the Walsh brothers in the build-up. It actually added a little bit of spice to the event. But the guy might get a Bellew of the Week for asking for a return in Vegas. You see that?
Yeah, that's been nominated a couple of times.
All right. Okay, but yeah, I enjoyed that. Crawford, I like the game. Love watching Crawford. I mean, what a time. We're talking about the welterweights now. I think if he moves up from 140, that gets pretty dull. But if he moves up to 147 now, and I think kind of the mean streak act that he's doing in the ring is maybe him realizing that in order to be a bigger star, he has to be maybe play the bad guy. You know what I mean? Because last night they asked him, why did you fight Southpaw? Because I do what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I think and then calling out Thurman, I think he knows he needs to open his mouth if he wants to sell tickets, because fighters like him with his style are not necessarily pleasing to everybody who's not like a hardcore boxing fan. I thought he was boxed beautifully last night, the way he made him lead off. You know what I mean? It's an Olympic gold medalist he was toying with. I know maybe that it was a bit crude, some of the stuff he was doing in the ring, but he was toying with an Olympic gold medalist, like, and you know what I mean? He was doing what he wanted with him, switching to the body. He reminds me a little bit, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't really get the Whittaker comparisons either. Obviously, Whittaker had a lot more movement and he was a lot flashier. I think he's like more of a kind of a, I don't want to say like in the Hagler mode, but he wants to hurt you when he's in there, like, you know what I mean? So I am excited to see him at 147. What a mix that is. Like, you got Thurman. We'll find out whether Thurman's good enough now with these guys in the division. I don't know if he really is. I think he's brittle, but you got Spence there now who's going to be able to test him. You've got Crawford in the mix. You've got Danny Garcia somewhere in around the mix as well, depending on how, you know what I mean? So there's lots of good fights to be made at 147, so I'm excited about those. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine, Rob. I was just going to say, just before being Ozzy Smith, and I was wondering what your thoughts were on the debacle across the country in this Dirrell against Uzcategui fight.
I was just going to get onto that, actually, and I know some of you guys are going to remember this. Do you remember Thomas Molinares, the Colombian, when he knocked out Marlon Starling after the bell?
Oh, yes, that's right.
That was after the bell.
That was definitely after the bell.
That was after the bell, and it was like a disgrace that it was let stand, like, or whatever it was. And I don't even know if it got overturned afterwards. Was Starling a hell of a fighter, but got done with a blatant after the bell. But that one was on the bell, I think. You know what I mean? That was on the bell. But I think from the referee's perspective, he felt like he had to act, because if you look at the replay, he says to them, 5 seconds till the bell, guys, get ready to break. And then, you know, and maybe in the flash of an eye, he sees the punch land out just as the bell. You know what I mean? When you're right there, maybe in a split second, it's easy maybe to look back. But he made an incorrect decision. And Dirrell, it was like Denzel Washington in the corner. Like, he was definitely putting it on. Like, but a strange career for Dirrell, like, as a talented guy. You know what I mean? Definitely had like ability. There's no doubt in his ability, but questions about him. Thought maybe Abraham, you know what I mean, maybe he was affected in his post-fight interview. Other than that, he might be just the greatest actor ever, because he genuinely seemed to not know what happened that night. But last night, like, he was, So you don't want to see that, and you don't want to see all those shenanigans in the ring. Like I said, like Andy was saying, like, why not give him 5 minutes then? Like, if you really feel a way about it, like, why not, you know what I mean, go and ask him. But don't, like, not even face him up, like, don't look, you know what I mean? It's just no class to it or whatever. We don't want to see it, like.
Yeah, I was just thinking as well, back to that start. It's been a long time since I saw that Marlon Starling fight. It was on a VHS. I don't even know if it's on YouTube or not. But I was trying to think. I think that ended up in like a no decision or a no contest or something at the end of that.
Maybe it did afterwards, but I remember Molinares celebrating, like, and the referee on the night giving the knockout. But it may have got overturned afterwards. But I remember watching. I think it was BBC, because Starling was lined up for Hunnigan, or may have just beaten Hunnigan.
Yeah.
So what the sequence was, but that was maybe why they were showing his fights. But actually, Crawford I know Breland was a lot taller and a lot more like Hearns, but that kind of punching at that weight reminds me a little bit of Crawford too. Mark Breland, he was a hell of a fighter too. So no, but who do people think that like Crawford is going to go for? Who will give him trouble at 147? I was thinking about it, like, and I think he has a good chance against Spence. I'd favor him to beat Thurman, but I think like Sean Porter could give him trouble just because of the way that horrible Greco-Roman wrestling style Sean Porter has. That might pose him some different problems and put him on the back foot.
I think Brook can cause him problems as well because he's physical, because his size, his jab, and he could hold him up and that.
Yeah, and is he going to be able to do what he's doing to these guys at 140 when he goes up to 47? Is he going to be able to kind of just brutally like maneuver them in the position he wants to? Like,
I don't think so. I think you've got the likes. I think Furman will be a good fight. Kell Brook is Kell Brook or Errol Spence for the next week, as mentioned. I'll probably get slated for this too, but I reckon Amir Khan's speed will cause him trouble as well. Whether Khan can last to 12 rounds or no is a different story, but you know, I think the speed there will maybe cause him a problem or two. Pacquiao was a good fight a good few years ago, but I think Crawford will beat him now, so I'm not that.
I don't really want to see Pacquiao go out like that either, like, because he could get, it could be one of those like Leonard versus Norris moments for Pacquiao or something. You know what I mean? It could be. I wouldn't like to see him go out like that. Let him right off into the sunset. You know what I mean? Without fighting Crawford.
Rob, feel free to stay on the line for as long as you want because there's plenty going on later.
Cool. I probably will. I want to stick around for the Brook Spence prediction, so I'll see what the crack is. If I have to jump off, I'll jump back on for them anyway.
Certainly, that'll do well. Thank you.
It's been over a year since Khan got starched cold by Canelo, and he doesn't have anything scheduled. So
he's got Ramadan scheduled.
Great. He's not even a fighter. I mean, why do we even talk about him anymore? Especially if Donnie's not here to wank him off.
Amir Dirrell, I think he would fit well in that family. He's a prick.
Yeah, he would fit in with him.
Hey, before I bring Ozzy Smith in on the Box Nation card, is there anything you want to say about Beltran Marcelo? I didn't actually see it.
It was a good fight before it ended very abruptly. Marcelo was giving him some real trouble, which surprised me because the only two Peruvian fighters I've seen before got totally outclassed and ruined. But this guy was actually decent. He ultimately did get ruined. He did pretty well against Beltran. I mean, he had him in trouble. It looked like. I think I saw his legs wobble. Beltran's legs wobbling. But he quickly regained his footing. Started getting some forward momentum and just swung in with the perfect left hook and shut his lights off. It was a beautiful knockout and kind of annoyingly, you could tell over the little earpiece. The producers of HBO kept telling Max to ask about like the health and like, are you concerned about his health and all this stuff? Because Max was like, rolling his eyes, looking sheepish, that he had to keep belaboring this point about Beltran's concern for the loser of the fight when, Beltran doesn't necessarily want to be thinking about that when he's just secured his future in America with his green card and gone on to the next step in his career. So I don't know. It was a little bit of a weird post-fight interview, but good for Beltran. He's obviously not elite level, but I like to see him win, even though he may be a Reuter. I don't know. What did he get done for?
He is a Reuter. Stanazol. He is a Reuter. I mean, you think about it. Your whole career was basically a sparring partner, earning your money in the fucking gym every week, and you fight and claw your way up to like world title status, and you break a guy's jaw, and you just pound him on him for the next 12 rounds. He was on drugs. I mean, people shit on Ricky Burns and shit like that, but at the same time, you need to remember that guy probably got beat upon by a fucking drug cheat.
Probably.
We have short memories.
If you look at the guy's record in that, right, in the 2000s and that, he's getting knocked out for Army of Diaz, wasn't he? He lost a few. He lost a few early in that, And he suddenly moves up to the likes of 130, 140, and he's knocking guys clear out in that. It doesn't happen, man. The guy's fucking. He's on something. It's a great knockout, but he's on something.
I remember, it was a great knockout. I mean, if you want to know what accelerated and de-accelerated fucking concussion is, you see that there last night. I think New York were really shitting themselves there last night. They fucking the doctors and stuff, because obviously in New York, if there was happening that, they were petrified. Yeah. They had to get him in a stretcher. I didn't see the oxygen. That's one thing I never noticed in America. Actually, never seem to get the oxygen mask when a fighter straight away. You never notice that in the UK. It's mandatory.
Yeah, I agree.
Good point.
It must cost like $1,000 just to get a fucking can of oxygen in there. But that should be the first time anyway. They got the guy in the stretcher right out the ring and probably straight to hospital. And that's probably just absolutely shitting themselves. But great knockout. I don't think really the Beltran knockdown should have been called, because I think it was a kind of clash of heads and stuff. But
yeah, definitely.
I think he got kind of. I don't know if he got desperate because because of the cut. I don't know if the cut was really that bad, but he just kind of really just tried to set it upon him. But as Tommy says, you do not go for that level and start. Hank Lundy's not that great, but you hang in there. I don't even think he beat him actually. In all honesty, he just didn't go in there and knock guys out for like being like a super featherweight and.
Absolutely blew Takahari Yawa away, didn't he?
Aye, he's a no bad fighter. I've not forget this. My dad hasn't watched boxing for many years, right? Probably the last time he watched boxing would be when Lewis was entering his peak, right? And he fucking phoned me that day, the weigh-in that he fucking fought, right? The day before he fought Ricky Burns, and he says, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Right? That was exactly. Who the fuck is this guy? I says. Beltran. I said, "Where's he from?" He says, "Well, I think he's from America, but he's got, basically Mexican." He says, "That cunt's off his fucking tits." He says, "He'll just fucking smash him." I wouldn't want to fucking fight that cunt. He's fucking massive. So,
yeah, but visually,
that's a layman watching the telly.
Visually, last night, I don't think he looked like he did previously. To be fair, so he might have changed supplier.
Well, no, to be honest, mate, I think if you listen, I'm not any sort of expert, but I can only say what I hear and what I read. And that, I mean, Victor Conte always says, it doesn't matter when you take the drugs; it's when you stop taking drugs, you still get the benefits of it. I don't know how long. Obviously, it depends what you're taking, I suppose, and what your body rejects and what it takes upon. But he was going about who was that American sprinter? Justin Gatlin. Justin Gatlin. That was the one. He says. He came back for a 2 or a 4 year ban and stuff. It says it doesn't matter. He's took the drugs and they're still going to be in the system for 5, 6, maybe even 10 years. He's still going to get the benefits of it, but he's still allowed to compete. And that's what Beltran is. Beltran's a fucking star. It's all cheap.
If you look at Gatlin, right, he actually ran quicker when he came back. He did.
Exactly. Yes. And there's Shannon Briggs here as well getting, I would never have guessed that Shannon Briggs in that condition, looking like in a fucking monument compared to what it looked like.
45-year-old.
Compared to what it looked like in his fucking prime. You kidding me, man? He looked like fucking Alice over him there last night, over the years, man. Fuck me. High testosterone levels. Like to see what the fucking reading was by the way.
Go ahead, Smido. Final comment.
That Beltran fight last night was tremendous. We're like 4.5 minutes of entertainment. We had a knockdown that was actually a headbutt and incorrectly given a count. Beltran was hurt pretty badly at the end of the first, and then the other kid was, coming on strong in the first part of the second round, and then that left hook was a fabulous shot. He's not going to land a better shot than that in his career, I don't think. Kind of, a bit of head movement to the side. Round whatever punch was coming his way, left up, boom, on the button, head crashed against the floor, fight over. What I would say, I thought the ref was good there. I think he only got to about 2 and then started, getting some serious medical attention in there. So that was fair enough as well. But I thought it was a tremendous fight while it lasted.
Right, guys, it's going to be a long one. We're now in 20 in and we're still going through the reviews from the weekend, but that's just the way it goes. We've got Kell Brook against Errol Spence coming up later. Ozzy Smith's on the line. Thanks for joining us, Ozzy. What do you want to talk about? The floor is yours.
I'm easy. Enjoyed the Box Nation card last night. I thought Davis looked absolutely superb. I was quite surprised in a way. I thought Liam Walsh would make it competitive, but I think he got buzzed after the first left-hand Davis landed, and I don't think it was realised. And from then on, he was really... He looked out of his depth more than anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Davis looks a special talent. But the card itself, I really enjoyed. Some decent, big punches. Yardy looked very good. Dubois disposed of David Howe, as expected. Enjoyed the Ryan Walsh fight. And the Pigford fight was excellent. I think both lads just said basically say no to defence and just unloaded on each other. So that was really enjoyable. I think the past few Warren cards have been excellent. I think he's matched lads very well. And I think it's paying off for him. He's getting some good publicity for once rather than all the negatives about cancellations and all the other negatives people can think about.
Just looking across at the States, quite a lot going on. Anything that caught your eye, Ozzy?
Yeah, the assault by Dirrell's was it uncle or something like that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Saw the video of it this morning. It's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. He should never be. He should go to prison for that. An absolute joke. I don't even know what to say about that. It was that bad. It was a blatant assault.
Well, Andy just posted in our chat there a link to a photograph of the assault charges. They're charging the guy with first and second degree assault. It's too bad Donnie isn't here so he could tell us what the hell that means. But
that's jail time.
Yeah, should be.
Fully deserved as well. It is blatant. It's an absolute disgrace. So how he even got that? Why even? I just don't know. It's something you never want to see again. But the family are a set of arseholes, aren't they? And hopefully he does some time for it and he gets a beating himself.
Where's Uzcategui? Is he Argentinian?
Venezuelan, I think.
Venezuela.
Yeah, Venezuelan, I think.
Well, that country's going to rat shit the new. Can you imagine that fight taking place here in Venezuela? That shit going down. They would have been lynched for the lamppost, those cunts.
Andy, that'd be like in the old Ricardo Torres days in Colombia. Do you remember when he fought Kendall Holt and someone grabbed his foot from underneath the ropes?
was that the 11th round knockout?
Something like that. It was like the frigging Colombian fights are just bonkers. You take your life into your own hands going over there.
I remember there was one fight in Argentina, actually. I think, who was the guy that fought Charlie Edwards? Fuck's his name? Casemiro.
Yeah.
He went to Argentina and he fought a guy, I forget his name at the minute, but anyway, I think he knocked the guy out late in the fight and his team got assaulted off fucking the Argentinians crowd, and his trainer ended up, I think one of the trainer ended up with a broken jaw, another person ended up with 2 broken ribs. In the meantime, there's fucking riots ringside, the tables and chairs are getting fired into the ring. You can just see the fucking fighters just bailing at any angle out of the ropes just so they can get into cover and try and get the fuck knows how they managed to get back to the change room. I just ran out in the street, got a taxi to the airport, my fucking gloves and my trunks, and just got on the fucking plane, man. Fuck that.
Martin got some shit out there too, didn't he?
Aye, the Martinez fight. I think they just going down the ring and that, he was just getting spat on or getting shit and that, because he's English and that as well.
There was a time whenever it was going on in Italy, I remember a few years back, there was a lot of crowd trouble over there, and I was talking to Neil Sinclair before he went over to fight for the EU title against Daniel Petrucci. I said, there's a lot of shit going on at the moment, fighters are getting attacked, there's things being thrown, it's quite violent. I says, are you worried about that, Neil? He says, fucking am now that you've mentioned it.
You know what I'd love to see in that situation, mate, if someone's getting berated, I would just love to see the fighter as he walks calm into the ring, just fucking swipe some cunt and just keep walking. That guy's lying in the fucking flare, eh? I would love to see that.
Ozzy, anything about Terence Crawford? He looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, I thought he looked excellent. I think I'd like to see him move up now. I don't really know where he can go next, really. I think a move up would be good. I think there's better fights for him, but I agree with what the others said before, that I do think there's fighters at 147 that can cause him problems. But at the end of the day, that's what you want to see. You want to see competitive fights. You don't want to see Crawford in walkovers who can not bully the smaller guys and use his weight. But I think everyone would like to see, say, a Crawford, Brook, for example. I think that'd be an excellent fight. Whether it happens isn't a complete another question, but I think it would be good to see him move up.
I'd just say about Crawford, I wouldn't mind seeing the Ndongo fight for a couple of reasons. I think Ndongo represents a different problem to what Crawford's had to put up with. Well, he would for anyone with that awkward style. And frankly, I think Ndongo deserves the payday. So, and it would be good. And it would be good to have someone, a truly unified champion that we hardly ever see. So
I agree with that.
In the interim, while Pacquiao messes about with that Australian horny, whatever his name is, then I don't mind the Ndongo fight.
Yeah, I don't think you can disagree with that. I think it's a good shout.
Ozzy, stay on the line for as long as you want, because there's plenty going on, okay?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Excellent. Right, bit of housekeeping, couple of fights. We're not going to discuss these, but in Germany on Friday night, Igor Mikhalkin beat Thomas Uzhausen. That's the end of Uzhausen's unbeaten record. Mario Deza, 12-0, beat Ola Afolabi as well.
Shocking.
Ryan Scalia was supposed to come and talk about that, but he didn't show.
Fixed fight.
The fix was in there. Quite a few people have said that. Before we go on to the Box Nation card on Friday, Smido, Noel Gavor lost 22-0 to Krzysztof Wlodarczyk. I can't believe Wlodarczyk is even going on at the moment at his advanced years, but don't worry about that.
He won that fight. Do
you think so?
I didn't see that one.
I saw. I thought Diablo just shaded it.
Diablo got the split anyway. No, Smido, don't worry about that. Tell me about this card on Friday night. I actually enjoyed it. Some really good, even match fights, wasn't there?
I'm not joking. I stumbled on the fight by accident, or the card by accident, and I just was sitting there thinking, bloody hell, I'm enjoying boxing for a change here rather than getting caught in the bullshit. I mean, it's brilliant. They were fighting in a hotel in Bolton, and as chief support, you've got Ustinov against Zumbano Love that lasted under a round, which I thought was superb.
That was a late opponent, though. I think it was a late opponent that fight.
Yeah. Ustinov looked he looked like he had a bit of eye of the tiger. Went for it a little bit. He's been out of the ring a while, through punches.
Smitho, if he hadn't have finished Zumbano Love, he was going to be blown out of his hole in round 2, though.
Right.
The thing is, though, man, he's possibly in line for a WBA title shot, a heavyweight, man. Fucking think about it.
He is now.
Who is it?
He definitely is now. The best thing about that fight was Love has still got tattoos, tribal tattoos that are unfinished, even from the Joshua fight. So he's obviously not been earning enough money to get those completed. There was a fella on the undercard, Andy. You'll know his name. He had a Norway flag on his shorts. Youngish fella, fought the journeyman from Newark. I thought that was a decent fight. Went the distance. I think that was 6 rounds. And then Zelfa Barrett is probably one of the almost certainly the best performance of the weekend on British soil from a British fighter. I thought Zelfa Barrett was excellent. Little bit of a step up against this. I can't remember his name, but he was Spanish, I think. He looked like Diego Costa. He had a bit of a Gary Glitter haircut about him. He was tough. He was tough as nails. Barrett put him down in the 2nd or 3rd, I think. Bit of a flash knockdown that was, and then I had a bet on Barrett to win by knockout after the 7th. The 8th was not much really happened. Then in the 9th, Barrett put him down straight right hand, straight down the pipe. He was flat on his back. This opponent. He managed to get up. He was out on his feet at the end of the round. A combination of referee and trainer carried him back to the corner. I thought, oh Jesus, I've done my money here. And then in the 10th as well, Barrett was just hitting him with jabs and body shots galore. It was a good test for Barrett. That good test. And the BT commentator, I forgot what his name is, but he said, and fair enough, and I agree, he's shown flashes of world class. Not saying he's all that as yet, but he did show flashes of it, and I look forward to seeing more of Zelfa Barrett.
See that what do you call it? That Luke Blackledge, the guy that he fought, that Oleg Fedosov's.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that as well. That was half decent, but he actually, that Fedosov, sorry, Andy, he actually appears in the ring like he's brain damaged, like his face is disfigured. His face is genuinely disfigured. Okay. He's slow as fuck.
He's a number 4 ranked light heavyweight in Latvia.
Yes. Yeah.
You fucking killer.
Did you see the end of that fight though?
He's staring at the camera like Scott Brun trying to fucking stare some cunt out.
The corner man threw the towel in, and then he started kicking off, like literally threw a kick at the rope in the ropes direction. His corner man fucked off, just simply walked off, and then Fedotov's there like protesting with himself basically, and the camera still throwing punches and it was funny that. Yeah, it was funny.
Ozzy, do you want to say anything briefly about this card on Friday night?
It was okay. I mean, it was a Steve Wood card, and it was shown by Box Nation. And I think with this new deal, I think I'm more than happy to see things like that. It gives your lesser fighters a bit of TV time. And like Adam said, it is what it is. They were in a hotel which holds a couple of thousand. And I thought Zelfa Barrett looked excellent. Now, he's been on the scene for a while now. He signed with Frank about 18 months ago, and Frank rates him highly, really, really highly.
A lot of
yeah, his uncle Pat Barrett. Now he doesn't want to move in quickly. He's not one of these that he's not going to be bullied into throwing him into a shot. So this was his first real step up. Now I think next time they're going to look to stepping him up again and essentially just let him off the leash and release him. He's obviously got the ability. It's the first time he's properly made super featherweight. I think last time out on the Flanagan undercard, he boxed at like welterweight. So he shedded a bit of weight there. And I think it's another good, impressive, hot prospect that we've got. Don't want to overhype him too much because you know where that can get you. But it was very impressive. And there was some good kids on there as well that it makes it enjoyable, really, isn't it? You've got two lads who come to give it a go, come to take 10 bells out of each other, and it's all good to watch.
Right, let's hot foot it over to Japan. Andy, the first card I'm going to go to, I'll just say my 2 pence worth, but before I get your expert analysis. Darren Parsons sent me the Daigo Higa fight, vacant WBC World Flyweight title today, and I watched it against Juan Hernandez Navarrete, 2 big punchers. Higa was excellent. I thought his footwork, his movement, the way he closed the ring down, and his punching power was just too much for Navarrete. I was really impressed with his performance, and he just put him to sleep. And obviously, the big talking point, Hassan Ndam defeating Ryota Murata. I said in the chat what happened with me here. I watched this fight right till the last 15 seconds, and then my little shit of a son got fed up waiting for me to take him outside, and he put the laptop lid down. So me, stupid enough, Andy thought, well, Murata's walked that. He's definitely won it, only to come back and find you in some beef with Gilberto Mendoza. Take it away.
Well, first off, Higa's obviously he was tipped as one of the top prospects of 2017, and he's delivered. He's now put himself in, the top echelons of flyweight division. Really, really good fighter. I mean, he's been in sparring with Gonzalez and UA, and apparently done really well against these guys. So that tells you about his caliber. Picking up his first world title, and I think it's 14 fights or something. But regardless of that, I mean, it was Japan used to just had a really, really good result, apart from Ndam, obviously. But I think they've got 4 title holders for Japan now at light flyweight, so they're really kind of ruling the roost at the kind of lower weights. Higa had a couple of broken teeth, I think, as well. I think he's I didn't get it translated as such, but his body language kind of suggested that when he got his gum shield taken out, his fucking teeth came with it. So Navarrete obviously kind of caught him a good shot, but on the main talking point, as you say, Steve, Murata against Ndam, I thought for the first couple of rounds, Ndam, he won. I think if you look at the three judges' scorecards, Ndam quite clearly won those first 2 rounds on those scorecards. Third round was pretty tight. I gave it to Murata. I think I'm going off memory here, but I think 2 judges gave it to Murata and 1 gave it to Ndam. And then for there on in, I just gave everything to Murata. There's obviously a couple of close rounds in there. You can maybe go either way. I've seen the closest scorecard I could see was 115-111, and that was for Murata. I've not seen anybody put up a case for Ndam to win this fight. I had it 118-109. Tommy had it 117-110, I think. Just by the off chance, as I says, Murata, I thought he didn't dominate as such. What I will say is I thought when it came to clear exchanges, Murata had the heavier shots. He stepped at a distance, always looking for the right hand. He was catching them down with ferocious straight right hands. Ndam just couldn't defend against him. He would come back. Okay, he was throwing the more shots, but not every shot that Ndam was throwing was landing. It was hitting the gloves. They were getting blocked. And then when he did land, it was like Murata just swapped him aside and just came back with more. Whenever Ndam looked like he threw the good shot, Murata answered it. And when he did answer it, generally he landed a heavier shot. So it's like you, I'm sitting there, 10th round, I'm starting to get bored of the fight. I'm saying to myself, okay, Murata's got this. This is fucking easy. And obviously I'm watching a Japanese link, so I can't translate it. And I'm sitting there like that, and then his hand gets raised. I said, did they just fucking give that to Murata? So I went onto Twitter. A few guys were mentioning it. I says, nah, surely no. Checked it out, and Ndam got the victory. So I just, by off chance, went on to Twitter and I says to Gilberto Mendoza, your first order today is basically to sack or suspend the 2 judges, Mr. Padilla and I think what's his name, Herbert Errol. You need to suspend them. That's a shocking fucking scorecards.
Hubert Earl, wasn't he?
Aye. So I really don't know what Mendoza expected, because he then decided to tweet. Basically, he asked the people on Twitter that I said, myself personally said, that the fight was controversial. What do you think? Well, I swear to God, Twitter just fucking blew up. I went to the shop for fucking 10 minutes. I come back, I had over 300 notifications sitting there saying, what the fuck's happened here? And I noticed every fucking comment that I got yesterday, everybody said, and I retweeted every fucking one of them, it said that Murata won that fight, and damn, didn't win it. I'll not get into the conversation between me and Mendoza had yesterday, because it's just a cunt thing to do. But he asked me for a copy of the fight. I sent it to him. I says, give me your scorecard, and I says to him, I want you on the podcast because you're fucking due me. I've chased you for long enough. I want you on the podcast. He's basically admitted he's going to come on the podcast at some point. Just need to get it arranged. And his scorecard was 117-110 to Murata. He said it was a disgrace. He's going to be demanding a rematch. He said that publicly, so I'm not divulging anything personally that we may have discussed. So he says it was a joke decision. The judges got it wrong. I have asked that the judges also be handled. I also might have mentioned to him publicly as well about the fucking referee Pabon. He's no good enough for me. If you look at the Klitschko against Povetkin fight, he was a disgrace in that fight. He was, again, I'm not going to give away too much of the conversation, because he actually backed Pabon a little bit, okay, and he didn't argue it. He basically gave his reasoning, so I'm not going to argue it or discredit him for that. He gave his opinion. That is it. But his opinion is it's going to be an immediate rematch, and by fuck does it need to be an immediate rematch? But at the same time as this title situation needs to be sorted out. And to all you listeners out there, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Smith does not deserve a world title fight. So you make sure you let Mr. Mendoza know your reasons why he does not deserve a fucking title shot. Keep the pressure on and get Isaac Ekpo, the Grenade, the present canteen graduate, get that world title shot. Do it now. Go on Twitter. Do your thing. Mr. Gilbert Mendoza, do not let him get a world title fight.
Smitho, Andy's talking about getting Gilberto Mendoza on the pod. Apparently he doesn't speak very good English, but that didn't hold back Harry and Callum earlier.
And Andy, I've not watched the fight, but for what reason would there be to give Undan the fight? Because obviously it's not a hometown decision. I mean, was it a clash of styles? Was it even remotely close? I've not watched it.
No. Not close. Tommy watched the fight. Steve, I think he even watched the fight. I have not seen anybody have it not even close enough to get to Nandam. As I say, everything that Nandam did was off the back jab, and he was, at one point he got held up with the ropes. It should have been called a knockdown. He come back with say maybe 3 kind of wild hooks and stuff, but Murata just swapped them off and just come back with his own shots. And for Mendoza, he fucking go on to Twitter and call me a whiny little girlfriend and all that sort of stuff. I didn't even bite to that, because obviously he's obviously fucking fed up with me pestering him and giving him a hard time. I've never abused the guy. I didn't troll him as such. I just kind of stick to the facts and that, because I want him on this fucking podcast. I think I've chased him for long enough. I've done my fucking fact finding, all my research, and he's still no fucking going to turn up here. And I told him last night, if you're going to come up here, you're not going to get the questions. You're going to come up here and you're going to be fucking hoodwinked. You come on this fucking podcast because you're fucking due. No, you're not due me an answer. All right, you're due. You're even due the listeners. You're due the fucking boxing fans an explanation as to why you keep continuing to exist with these fucking shitty titles. You don't need interim titles. You don't need champion in recess. You don't need regular titles. All you need is maybe the top 2 contenders to fucking fight it off to get a mandatory contender. That's all you fucking need to do. No, but you need to get in the fucking money, right? We've got that broken down. But I'll let Tommy speak about it, because I know Tommy saw the fight and it wasn't even fucking clear. It was not even a clear fucking win for Nandam. It was absolutely pissed at the part by Murata. And, fair play to the guy. He's got a bit of class. But the way the French, or should I say, Nandam's corner celebrated that, they fucking must have known he lost that fight. That was fucking terrible. And when you've got the president of WBA personally telling you that fucking fight was the wrong decision, Murata should have won it, I think that tells its own fucking story.
Well, here, Tommy, Andy invited you in. Let me lead you in with this question from Jack Rice, because I think it's quite relevant, Tommy. He says, is the attitude of Gilberto Mendoza towards the Ndam Murata fight a watershed moment? Will judges, especially those in the UK, take note?
Sorry, Steve, can you repeat that? You're breaking up a wee bit there.
Jack was asking if this is a watershed moment, Gilberto Mendoza's response to the Ndam Murata fight, calling for inquiries or whatever it was. Could this be a turning point with the sanctioning bodies?
I'd like to think so, man, especially after all the crap that he got yesterday, because quite frankly, it was warranted after that decision. That was absolutely disgusting.
Robbery of the year.
What went on? There's absolutely no doubt about it. I've not seen the relic fight yet, but that fight was an absolute disgrace. I had it 9-3, and obviously there was a knockdown duel. It wasn't just the scoring. I thought there was 2 knockdowns in the fight as well that never got scored for that. There was at least one. Was definitely a genuine knockdown. Undam, he did throw a lot of punches, but he couldn't really hit him. Murata was catching all his shots, blocking. He was moving. He was making him miss, and every time he seemed to hit him, he was hurting him. Now, I think Murata actually should have stopped him, because he was hurting him. As I said, whenever he hit him, he was hurting him. But it's still not an excuse to get the guy won the fight with the park. That is definitely one of the biggest robberies I've seen for a long, long time. He absolutely classed him.
Mate, I say that was the worst robbery since Whitaker Ramirez won.
Ah, yeah, it's definitely, mate. I can't remember seeing anything that bad in a long, long time where actually a fighter's lost a fight. I've seen some dodgy scorecards just come back a few weeks ago to Murray Rosado, but I actually thought Murray won that fight. But absolutely seeing a fighter win a fight like that so clearly and getting a decision against him, you can't fathom stuff like that. How see on Twitter saying Undam won the fight, right? Now I can see why people think that, right? Because he did throw a lot of punches, but it's obviously people that they didn't watch the sport that long. They're watching and they're seeing him throwing punches and they're scoring them. They're scoring them as actually landed shots, which the one they landed. Like, it's just sitting watching it. We've got a bit more savvy. We know what's landing and what's not landing. But for a professional judge to fall for that, to turn round and score the fight for Undam yesterday, there's going to need to be big changes in the sport, because, as Andy says, it's not as if it was really a close fight. There was only one guy. There was only one winner of that fight, and it was Murata.
Anybody else want to comment on this show before we move on?
So I didn't want to keep hogging it, but the fucking judge that had that fight, Padilla, he had the fight for Ndam. He had Shumanov beating Hopkins. Think about that for a second.
Oh my God!
Hopkins fucking schooled him. He took him to primary school, nursery school, and fucking high school, university, and college, all within 12 rounds, and he fucking got a split decision. Are you fucking kidding me?
That judge needs to be like freaking aborted from this, euthanized.
Well, I checked the rules last night, and apparently the disciplinary process basically states that the judges are entitled to anonymity or confidentiality. So we're not going to hear about what happened. What's going to happen is some ego-eyed person who listens to us or follows you on Twitter or whatever is going to notice this fucking person come up on BoxRec at some point. There's that cunt that fucked up the fucking Murata scorecard. He is now officiating a fight somewhere in fucking Ecuador or some regional title fight somewhere. If he appears on any world title fucking fight, I don't care what fucking world title it is, it basically fucking proves that there is absolutely no. Mendoza said that last night, is they go through training, they go through all these fucking things, certification. It proves fuck all. Anybody, the thickest cunt in the street could walk up to university and get a fucking PhD or a master's if they fucking tried hard enough. Doesn't mean to say you can do a fucking job though. Because at the end of the day, you need common sense, you need fucking know what you're watching and fucking judge it fairly, accurately, and without fucking bias. And that's what happened. So last night it was either incompetence or corruption, right? It was either one or two or fucking both. And I'll tell you what, none of them are fucking suitable for this fucking sport. I mean, it goes on all the time. But at the same time, as that yesterday, as I say, it is a robbery of the year without doubt. It is the most. I mean, how can you rob a guy? Especially, how can you rob the home fighter on his home turf? What fucking, I'm lost for words.
He was hurting him every time he hit him, wasn't he?
Exactly, mate. The fucking right hand. You fucking any time he hit him a right hand, then damn looked like he was a jack in the box. He would jump up off his fucking feet, or he'd be fucking falling across the ring, he'd go against the ropes. I'm saying to myself, how the fuck can they know? They can't score it right, but at the same time, my wife's just fucking giving me a hard time here. But I think I've said enough. I've said enough about it. I'm moaning about it a wee bit here, but shit like this it's a robbery of the year. Without question, it's one of the biggest robberies I would say since Pernell Whitaker got robbed in France against that guy Ramirez in the fucking first fight. It was pure fucking AIDS. And if I did my bit yesterday, I did my bit. Okay, I hammered the guy. I went on to him. I says to him, "This isn't good enough." Everybody jumped in. The amount of Japanese people I had on my Twitter yesterday was unbelievable. Everybody was saying it was fucking translating everything. Not one person had that fight for Ndam, and it's absolutely if anybody's got a reason as to how they could rob Murata on his own turf in front of his own people like that, so blatantly, rob him.
Right, Andy, I need you to keep your...
Sorry, just a last point. It's not that nobody had it for Ndam. Everybody had it wide for Murata.
Exactly.
You couldn't even make a case for Ndam in the fight, could you?
No, I don't want to burn you out, Andy, because I know that you're probably the only one who's seen the rest of the cards. Any final comments on the Ndam fight or Higa or anything, guys?
See this pish about Murata, didn't he? Let his hands go enough. Fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. If you're still going to sit on the fence about saying about a fighter, he needs to go and take the title. Dirrell fucking beat Froch in Nottingham, right? I don't care how close the fucking fight was. Dirrell beat him, right? And Steve Bunn stepped up and says, "Oh, but you got to go and beat the champion in his fucking home turf." No, you don't. You just need to do it after fucking win the fight. So this pish about Murata didn't fucking let his hands go off enough. It's complete bullshit. Because when he landed the fucking punches, or when he did let his hands go, he landed fucking murderous punches. Better when Ndam threw, and better when Ndam landed, and that is a fucking fact.
I wonder. Sorry, I know you want to get off.
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
I did read something before when they talked about that scorecard with Shumanev, which was an abomination because B-Hop dropped him and everything. Like, he didn't even get near. I don't even think he had a corner man that night, Shumanev. He was just sitting. Anyway, but and like the Canelo decision with Floyd, where that was a split decision. I read like that it's like got to do with the judges being bought off for heavy betting. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it was some like Las Vegas insider was spilling the beans on something, and he was saying that like basically they're betting on a split decision. So the smart money's on Floyd UD, the smart money's on B-Hop UD, but you know what I mean. So everybody loads on that, and then they kill him at the bookies with a split decision. Maybe Smitho knows more about that, but that's what the theory was on those two decisions anyway. So maybe it's something to do with that over there.
I remember hearing that about the Canelo fight. Yeah, I do remember hearing that, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's Vegas.
Okay, hey to Dave. Tell me about this Fox Sports 1 card at the Laredo Energy Center in Texas. David Benavidez battering Rogelio Porky Medina to an 8th round stoppage. I think he dropped him about 3 or 4 times. Jorge Lara returning with a knockout of Mario Briones. Good value, Dave?
Yeah, it's a good little card. I don't think there were plenty of empty seats, unfortunately. But it would have been hard to know for sure because Benavidez hasn't really fought anyone of note before. This is a good step up for him, and he passed with flying colors. I mean, it was dazzling. The hand speed and combinations reminded me of Ray Leonard, the way he like battered the guy's head back and forth between his hands. The finish was absolutely gorgeous. Just this blazing combination. Just smashed his head around and he falls off there with like without even like being troubled. It was really a very cosmetically appealing performance from Benavidez. He took a few shots too, but he's a tough enough guy and he seems to be able to take it. Medina is tough as hell. I mean, some of those shots he ate, he should have been finished like 4 rounds ahead of time. The ref could have stepped in too. His corner could have pulled him out well before that he finally did get stopped. But I mean, it was brutal. It was a brutal beatdown, and this is impressive for. I think he's 20 years old, Benavidez. He's just a kid, and he looks phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. Now's the time to step up. He just beat Porky Medina, he's tough as hell, but And he also managed to have a fairly close fight with James DeGale, starch cold Jalen Love. I mean, the guy's not bad. The only guy who's been able to dominate Medina is Badu Jack and stopped him. I think this might be as badly as we've ever seen Porky Medina beaten. And this may be the most advanced version, the best version of Medina. So I think Benavidez is also huge for the weight. I think that's a factor, but I want to see him again. He couldn't really have looked better, in my opinion. I think it should be a coming out party for him, or he's on the verge of one against a bigger name. So keep your eye on Benavidez. Anyone else see it? Share the thoughts.
I've seen the stoppage, mate. Really impressive. I might have seen him in his last fight as well. Certainly at that time, I thought a bit more polished, but to stop a guy like that, Porky Medina, he's usually tough, durable stuff. But to finish him like that was pretty impressive, actually. But I'm not going to go overboard just now. But if they're going to keep him at that level, against that type of opponent, roughly around about kind of top 10ish, top 15, keep him there, because it's the only way he's going to progress. And was quite impressed with the stoppage.
Any other brief comments on this show, guys, before we move on? Doesn't appear so. Right, I'm going to park the last two shows till a little bit later in the show, Inoue and Tanaka, just to break things up a bit, because I really want to get onto this Kell Brook, Errol Spence Jr. Preview for next week. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. George Groves is on the card as well against Fedor Chudinov. Dave Allen, a former participator on the show, against Lenroy Thomas. Jamie Cox against Lewis Taylor. Andy Townend is going in against John Kays. Haven't heard that name in a while. And it's the debut of Anthony Fowler, Joe Cordina, Lawrence Okoli are on the show as well. Let's just get stuck into this, guys. Smido, you're first on my list, first in my head. What's going on here? Brook against Spence. How's this going to break down? Give us the knowledge.
Your heart.
Well, first things first, I think it's a fucking brilliant fight, to be honest, and I'm really looking forward to it, as a lot of people are. I won't be paying pay-per-view because I've quit pay-per-view thanks to mainly the influencers on this podcast, which Andy will know. Yeah. But no, I mean, when it opened, it was 50-50 with the bookies, but it's interesting now that some of the bookies have got Errol Spence as short as 4-7, which is pretty short. The best prices you can get on Spence is 4-6, and the opposite of that, obviously, for Kell Brook, you're looking at a best price 13-8. I think that this fight, when it was made, we was hearing murmurs from trainer, promoter, and gym mates that everyone thought Kell Brook should move up to 154 following the Golovkin fight. That's not happened. But when this fight was announced, I was all about. I thought the fight would pivot on how Kell Brook makes the weight. I don't doubt that. I never doubted that he could make 147. It was just how he did it. But I must admit, by all accounts, and I don't see much bullshit in the stories that we've heard so far, is that he's bang on the weight. To be fair,
that's good gear, eh?
yeah, must be on the good stuff out in Tenerife. So yeah, it looks like he's done the weight well. So that's fair enough. I think that a broken orbital bone is a serious injury, and that happened in December, was it? So we're about 6 months down the line from that. Errol Spence can fucking bang. So I think I'm personally predicting Errol Spence to win by KO, basically via a re-emergence of the eye injury. To be honest, I think they're both genuinely world-class fighters. I think it'll be fascinating to watch. I think it really will. Brook, as I've always said, I think has got a world-class jab. He showed as much against Golovkin. I think he carries decent power. Particularly for welterweight, and I think he's a worthy world champion, despite it taking him a hell of a long time to get there. Whereas Errol Spence, I mean, he's just impressed at every step along the way. This is definitely Spence's toughest fight by quite a distance, to be fair. So it's a bit of a crossroads to see how good Spence is, to see how much of a future Brook's got left, particularly at welterweight. And because obviously Brook's the older fighter, he's getting on a bit now. To be fair, Brook, it is kind of surprising how old. I think he's 32, 33. So So yeah, it's a fascinating fight, absolutely fascinating fight. I'm really looking forward to it. And it starts, to be honest, it starts a bit of a run of some major fights coming up over the next few months. So I'm going for Spence KO. I could well be wrong. I don't know. It's not a confident selection, but that's what I'm thinking at this stage. And I'm going to try and avoid the normal Sky pay-per-view bullshit this week.
Mm-hmm. Rob, I'm not sure about Spence, to be honest. I like what I see. He's fast, he's skillful, he's impressed me. He has a couple of flaws that every fighter does, but I like what I see. But I'm looking down his record, Rob, and I don't know. I don't know if I can pick against Brook, to be honest with you. We've got Samuel Vargas on the record. We've got Phil LaGreco, better record than he actually was, realistically. We've got Chris Van Heerden. We've got Chris Algieri. We've got Leonard Bundu. Who's the best win, Rob, do you think?
I think his best win is probably Chris Algieri, because you can hear me, yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. No, I think his best win is probably Chris Algieri, because think about it. Algieri is not really worth the thing in the boxing ring, skill-wise or whatever. But look, he went the distance with Provodnikov, got the win. Pacquiao couldn't knock him out as much as he played with him. He punked Khan at times. And then Spence got him out of there, emphatically. And I think that the thing about Spence is, all right, he's done what he's supposed to do with the guys on his record, but he's looked emphatic in all the wins, and he systematically breaks guys down. If you look at a guy like him who goes to the body and the head, consciously goes to the body and head early in his career, he's looking to systematically break people down, and he's passed the test. Don't forget, he knocks out Chris Algieri, never been stopped. He knocks out Leonard Bundu, never been stopped. All right, it's not the same Leonard Bundu, but he still knocks him out. You know what I mean? So I think so far, you have to say he's passed the tests that have put him there. And when it's what we want from young fighters, exciting fighters, we want them to pass these tests and quickly. So he's arrived now at the scene. He's up against a genuine world champion in 147, but I think he has what it takes to beat Brook. So I'm going to back Spence, but that's just because I've been following him since the story of him dropping Floyd and all that, inspiring. I've been looking out for him for his whole career. So I've been looking at his fights, even though the opponents have him up to it, but I see him knocking guys out with body shots, and I just see something in him. I think he's got a bit of the dog in him too, like with Crawford, that when he gets a guy hurt, he wants to get him out of there. So it's really an interesting fight, but I'm going to back Spence.
Andy, Rob, in fact, is back in Spence. I'm on the fence, but I think I'm going to go with Brook. I like what I see from Brook, his physical strength, his ability to fight on the inside. I think he's going to take Spence to places where he's never been before. What do you think?
Well, I try not to sit on the fence too much, mate. Not like you, but I'm going to go with Spence. Now, my reason is just the simple fact is, who was the last southpaw that Brook fought? Anybody think? No, there's a question. But
Frankie Gavin. Was it Frankie Gavin?
Well, it would be Frankie Gavin. Actually, no, but now you're talking about that's beans on toast, Frankie. So anybody before that, it might have been running at British title level. I favour Spence just because his freshness. Again, as Adam's quite rightly stated, he and Eddie have always stated that he's had some sort of problems trying to make 147. The pictures of him just now, he is there's nothing left of him. If he's on weight, I'd be surprised just now. I think he's still got a wee bit to go, just maybe a couple of pounds or whatever. There's not much to give there. To be on weight a week out before a fight's no good. You kind of keep maintaining that for a good length of time, but depends how he makes the weight. I think Spence with his big nipples. There's a suspect that kind of maybe suggests other things, but I just think his speed. Be a better variety than Brook. Brook's he's very tall. He's got a stiff jab, but he's no something. If you go to the Porter fight, he wasn't like someone who was a fluid combination punch. It was like 1-2. There wasn't really much variety about him. It was like 1-2, grab and hold, and then make it a bit of a wrestling match. It was fucking horrible to watch. And wouldn't it surprise me if he makes a kind of similar kind of effort against Spence? I think if he's going to win, he'll do it a kind of similar fashion as to what he did against Porter, without Spence actually having to kind of bull rush him. But I just think if Spence can actually take away Brook's jab and maybe just try and just chip away at him, I think he'll maybe do it on points. But who knows? You might get the Eddie Hearn special. We might get a few funny judges in there. Maybe Mr. Padilla and the guy from Canada might appear, and they might be on the judging panels or whatever. And Brook gets a decision. But I think I want Spence to win, because I think Brook's heart's really not in the sport. Spence, I think, might be hungry, might want to leave a legacy. Brook wants to get paid and get out of the game without as much damage as possible. And so, if we're going to bat it for anybody, it's going to be Spence.
Ozzy, regardless of the Eddie Hearn factor, the Matchroom, the casuals, pay-per-view, all this type of stuff, it's a really good fight, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I know I'm usually a pessimist, but I am looking forward to Saturday night. I think this fight's going to deliver. Yeah, completely agree. Really looking forward to it. It's a mandatory for once that I think we're all happy to see, rather than the Jojo Dans and Kevin Biziers. And I think it's a genuine 50-50. I'm going with Spence. I think he'll stop him. Not sure what round, but I agree. I don't think Brook's heart's in it. And no matter what they say, there's not a chance he's on the weight. No way. Like Andy said, you can't be on the weight for how tight he is a week out from in a major fight. It's just impossible. And I've just been on Brook's Twitter, and he's with his nutritionist been eating chocolate cake and ice cream. So make of that what you will. He's obviously on the yeah, honestly, yeah. He's retweeted it himself. He's had a cheat meal of prawns and something else, along with chocolate cake and ice cream. Well, that's obviously a kind of treat, but I think that suggests that he's not on weight at the minute. He's definitely not on weight. Exactly. No way. I think, and what a big difference to me is you can always see with the weight in Brook's face that he goes really gaunt. And at the moment, he doesn't look that. He looks, I reckon he's around 150, 151. Now, you'll see on the way in that he goes really gaunt in his face. I can't remember the last. He goes a kind of chalky colour, doesn't he? Yeah, exactly. And he's not that at the moment. I mean, he's changed colour completely from his last fight. He looks a completely different person, but he goes really, really gaunt. So that'll be interesting to see. But I actually think I mean, I hate pay-per-view. I think there's been too many already this year, but I actually think it's a relatively decent card. A couple of good fights on them. Groves Chudinov will be decent. Not sold on Town NKs. John Case has passed it. But Allen, I mean, Lenroy Thomas, where have they plucked him from, really? He could be the next Kurtz and Manswell. Oh, God, I have no idea. But fair play to Allen. He could be a Commonwealth champion next Saturday night. He's made a career off being a bit of a bloke who's well worshipped on Twitter by a load of people because he says it as it is. I think Jamie Cox, for the way they've banged on about him since they've signed him, I understand it's late notice, but I think the Lewis Taylor fight's poor. Taylor got comprehensively beaten off Tommy Langford. Now we're talking Cox, who they say is world level, and that he can be up there. Now we saw what happened to Tommy Langford when he stepped up and he battered Lewis Taylor. So I think Cox, I'm hoping he blows him out in 2 or 3 and he stepped up very quickly. But no, going back to the main event, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll be backing Spence by the stoppage. We will go through everyone at the end and get your predictions in raw format. Tommy, so far I'm the only one who's picking Kell Brook. You're going to side with me, aren't you? Tell the listeners why.
Of course I'm not picking Kell Brook, Steve. Fuck's sake, who's stupid enough to do that? I'm only joking. I fancied Brook. I've actually fancied Brook for the start of the fight. I've said for the start of the fight, I look, it's depending on weight. I think last week that, well, he's looking in good condition, isn't he? I'm going to base my prediction on him coming in good at the weight. I'm not going to make excuses if he loses. If he loses, he loses. I just think Spence is untested. I'm kind of along the same lines as you, Steve. I don't think he's the easiest to hit either. And let's be honest, Kell Brook's fucking a pretty good fighter, isn't he? So I'm going to go with Brook here. And I've actually had some information there that if should he win the fight, there's going to be a very, very big announcement after the fight when another fighter coming into the ring. I think we all know who that's going to be, yeah. WWE style, eh? Hey, is a drug test? Is a drug test for this fight?
There is, yeah.
Is it VADA?
There's VADA, USADA, and Brook put out a tweet this week saying he said he was being tested and he said there's VADA, USADA, and UCAD, all three.
There's always the concern actually when you've got at least 3 fingers in the pie. You need VADA. VADA is the only one I'm interested in. So who are they testing? Oh, it's suspect as fuck.
The Engel gym has had question marks. Dominic Engel, I think, there's big suspicions over him. Like, I don't know. It's I'm going for Brook too, like Tommy and Steve. I think Brook will win in points, but it's a brilliant fight, but it'll be a tough fight for both of them. But I think Brook on a close points, and it might be a fight that you could make an argument for either of them to win, but it's a sort of fight. It's a sort of fight. It's a real, from a certain point of view, if not from a commercial point of view, it's just a great fight. But it's all about the interesting thing about people. This point about people saying about Brook making the weight. I don't have a doubt that he'll make the weight properly. But to me, the question mark is how much does making the weight properly take out of him? I don't doubt that he'll make the weight, and I don't doubt that he'll make it properly. But it's how much making the weight properly, how much that takes out of him. But I don't have a worry about the injury or what the Golovkin fight did to him. I think he's a bit of a freak in terms of just his powers of recovery and that sort of thing. I think he does the thing I've always liked about Brook. I've always liked he's been taught how to fight from a young age. Whenever he gets hit, he knows if he gets hit hard, he knows. And unlike Khan, who panics and the red mist comes down, Brook always knows what to do. He sticks the jab out and he protects himself. But yes, it's a great fight.
Who've we got on the line? Hey to Dave, we haven't had your assessment yet. I think that Brook's going to win on points, Dave, for what it's worth, and I think someone's going to get dropped at some point, and I'm going to say that Brook, mid-rounds, drops Errol Spence. Nobody saw that coming, Dave. What do you think?
Well, like Andy, I would like Spence to win, but like you, I think Brook's going to win, and I think he will probably hurt Spence or drop him somewhere, maybe early on. I think he throws the shorter punches, the shorter, tighter punches, and they're going to get by Spence's wider shots. He does tend to go in there winging. Not saying Spence is a bad fighter. He's obviously got tremendous athletic gifts. Hopefully they're natural, but who knows? Both of these guys, we know. I hope if one of them is, both of them are. But yeah, I think Brook's shorter shots are going to be key to landing first. I think they might be about even on speed. Maybe I think Spence might be a little faster here, to be honest. But Brook is going to have better timing through.
Timing beats speed.
Better timing through his experience, and he showed that timing. I think that timing is the only difference there was really in the Porter fight. It was an ugly fight that was pretty close, but those few moments where he created distance and landed those quick shots in there, I think that's basically how he's going to beat Spence here. Might knock him down, might shake him up a few times, but I hope Spence just goes in there and blitzes him. I think that would be cool too. Either way, I think it will probably be a better fight than the Porter fight. But for me, Brook points.
Right, it's the biggest con since the Guinness fraud. We've got Big Russ back on the line. Russ, where have you been?
Yes, Russ.
How are you?
Not too bad. Are you out of the boxing game now, Russ, or what's happened?
Well, I've spat my dummy out Anna for a couple of weeks. I'll probably be back. I'm a bit disillusioned with sport, to be honest. I've been there 2 years and 3 days, and I just fucking. What's the point in trying to match kids? Say for instance, Liam Cameron, he's a super middleweight. Well, he's going to go to middleweight now to fight Sheedy for Commonwealth at 160. But what's the point in me trying to match Liam with people like Martin Murray and Paul Smith, who are about his level, and yet they can just move Smith from 20 in WBA to 5. I mean, it's just fucking pointless, isn't it? It's just one of them little things. There's a build-up of events in my head, and I just stood up and said, right, that is fucking it. He just one of the final nails. It's been like that for a couple of weeks, but just little things like that, little things you come across. I know I'm a bit naive and I'm probably a bit wet behind ears, and it's so easy for Dennis to say, don't let it get you like that, Russell. Boxing does that to you, but it just fucking sent me mad. That Andy Patterson's had the ding dong with that Mendoza last night, and he got everything right what he said to him, and he's coming out with smarmy comments like you're like a whiny little girlfriend. He should be setting an example for the sport. And I worry for boxing at the moment because no promoters are making any money, are they? Only Eddie Hearn. I really worry for the sport. Honestly, soon it's going to be such a monopoly that I fear for it. MMA is going to take over, mate. I worry for boxing.
Yeah, Ross, what about this big Kell Brook against Errol Spence fight? You didn't think it was going to happen, but it certainly is.
No, I didn't, mate. I didn't think it was going to happen. Somebody who worked there said that they not even spoke to him or anything. It was all top secret. They kept it very quiet, and I didn't think it was going to happen. People were saying it won't happen in the area I live in. People in the know, and obviously it's happening. And I think Kell Brook needs respect for taking it, but when you think about it, this is mandatory, isn't it? He had some easy mandatories leading up to Spence, and then when it came down to Spence, he did everything in his power to fight Amir Khan. I know, because Dennis and Asif were in talks with Hearn and Terry Brook. Terry Thompson, isn't it, Kell's dad? So he didn't want to fight Errol Spence. He did everything not to fight Errol Spence. And in fact, I've got it on here, February the 9th, Errol Spence, and I quote, brings nothing to the table. He's not a name. Then we've got here, March the 31st, Errol Spence is who we wanted to fight all along. This is why we love this sport so much, as Adam Smith once said. Do you know what I mean? He didn't want to fight him, did he? The chaps on here, they all know, don't they? They're not daft, lads. They're all pretty sharp. He didn't want to fight Errol Spence. Why? Because he's a good fighter. And I think he's going to be in the fight of his life. And personally, I think Errol Spence will beat him over 12 rounds. But would these judges, because we're now classed as the new Germany, aren't we? Are we going to is Errol Spence going to win 7 rounds? Yes, I think he can. Will he get a decision in Sheffield, 3.5, maybe 4 miles from Kell Brook's house? No, he won't. I don't think he will. I think
he's got to win 7 rounds. He's got to win 7 rounds to get a draw and 8 rounds to win the fight. 7 rounds for a draw and 8 rounds to win the fight. He's got to win.
Let's see if
Ross, let me just bring Rob Kelly in. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no. I agree with Russ. Like I was shocked that they made that fight. Like you could see Eddie in immediate aftermath of the Golovkin fight was talking about Amir Khan moving him to 154 for one of the Chalos or one of those characters. They were trying to make him a world champion there, maybe maneuver for Canelo fight. They didn't want to fight Errol Spence. You know what I mean?
No, they didn't. No,
definitely not. But yeah. So yeah, I was surprised that they took him for sure. Eddie definitely didn't want that fight, so it could come back and haunt him. But like they're not going to give him a decision. Like there's no chance they're giving him a decision, especially if what Tommy was saying. If we think that fight is going to get made afterwards, immediately afterwards, going to be announced. If it's already a done deal, what chance has he got on the cards? Like he has to stop him, doesn't he? So.
Russ, tell me this with your insider knowledge. What do you think each guy will be getting paid?
Well, I told you, I know what Kell Brook knocked back. He knocked 2.8 million back on the upside. So, and Amir Khan, I think we're getting about £1 million more. But why would you? You'd be getting half of that. I'd have thought 1.2 million or £1 million or something. You wouldn't be getting that much because that's what I would have thought anyway. Maybe £1.5 million tops.
Really?
I mean, last time I spoke to Asif, he said, "Why would you want to take a fight for half of the money that's an harder fight?" Now, he might think, I can beat Spence, over this money up and then get Khan. But I don't know, I think Amir Khan's just as good as Errol Spence. I mean, Errol Spence is training in his gym at the moment. He's over in... he's in a little village right next to where Asif lives at the moment. He's stopping over Bolton. We reckon he looks really, really good.
Ross, let me bring in one of our contributors. I think it's Dominic who wants to speak.
Yeah, Russ, I wanted to ask you if Kell wins the fight, maybe it doesn't matter how he wins it impressively or not. How does that improve his his bargaining strength for a can fight?
Oh yeah, massively. I think it does. Yeah, if he beats Errol Spence, I personally would have Kell Brook as the #1 welterweight in world boxing if he beats Errol Spence. I know Errol Spence has not got a world title, but the stories that you hear, the sparring stories, and look how he dealt with that Algerian. I mean, he took Amir Khan and Manny Pacquiao distance, didn't he? And he just dispatched him, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, I'm hearing him about him dropping high caliber middleweight. What's the guy called who had the beard? Who were in Contender in America? He's a mate of Mayweather. He's got to be. Is it Ishii Smith?
Oh yeah, Ishii Smith. Yeah.
He smashed him up, didn't he, in Mayweather's gym as well? He gave Floyd a black eye, didn't he? And he's a 154 guy, isn't he? Is he a 147? 154, isn't he?
154 in middleweight. He fights.
Yeah, he smashed him up as well, and he can switch as well, but he doesn't do it a lot. But I just seen some tapes of him in the last couple of weeks. Because obviously I'm going to have a good bet on. I'm going to have a bet on it. I want Kell to win, obviously, because he lives near me. But I just think he's going to win in that Spence. But he might get jobbed. But I've studied him for a couple of weeks now, and I think he's got everything. I think he's just a complete fighter. But they say Kell's a complete fighter, don't they? This is why, you know, we're all wanking ourselves into a stupor over this fight, aren't we? Those hardcore, because it's a really, really pick and fight, and it's a good fight.
And you know what to say about those Kell's
coming down from a big weight, isn't it? And if you look at the statistics, how many guys jump back down and do they?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Listen, I'll go ahead, Dominic. Go ahead.
That's the big thing. Like, you know, think about, you know, the analogy of Roy Jones coming down from the Ruiz fight, and you know what it did to him in the Tarver fights. But the one thing I'm looking forward to is hearing Adam Smith's alliteration of the slick southpaw skills of Errol Spence.
Yeah, Ross, listen to me. You said you were going to put a bet on, right? Say if you're taking a big wad of notes out of your wallet, dusting them off, and taking them down to Ladbrokes, what would you be putting them on?
But I won't be going to this one in Denver because me and Steffi Bull are banned from it. I'd go into town to William Mills, but I would put on probably about 200 quid on Spence to win on points. I don't think they give me a fair shake. But, you know, I'm tempted to go for a late knockout for him because I think Kell Brook might struggle late on, you know, with body shots because that kid's a big body puncher, isn't it? I mean, they were going to call him the body snatcher, weren't they? But that name's Tuck, innit? But he does go to the body early doors and it's like money in bank, innit? So I might be swayed to go 8 to 12 in a late stoppage for Spence. Because would he get a fair shake? No. And if it went to points, I'd be kicking myself, wouldn't I? So it'd probably be 200-300 quid on Spence. I won't have an accumulator. I just go for a Spence a late knockdown. I'll go for a Dave Allen. Might have a double with Dave Allen on the KO as well because Dave's training hard for the Lenroy Thomas.
Russ, you said that you've been banned from the arena. Are you and Steffi going to stay at home and watch it on your treadmill?
No, I'm banned from local booking. Steffi's going to fight and he's got tickets. I'm banned from local booking.
Oh,
we can't put bets on down here under the haters, don't they? Because you keep winning, you don't let you bet. But no, he's not. He'll be going to fight. I'm not going to fight.
Right, Ross, before we move on and let you go, tell me briefly about the fight last night. Did you watch Davis against Walsh? What did you think?
No, I didn't. I went to bed actually after Ryan Welsh's fight, and then I watched the highlights of it. And he shouldn't have been in ring with him, should he? That Liam Welsh, I don't think he should have been in ring with him. He's way out of his depth, wasn't he? I mean, come on. He just steamrolled him, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, that fight was just so that Frank Warren could get a meeting with Mayweather, basically. That's why it was set up, wasn't it? So he can get a meeting with him and just see if he could get his claws into it, see if there's a lemon worth squeezing. That's all I thought.
Ross, that's lovely, Ross. We'll get you on next week to talk about Brook again.
You take care. All the best, chaps.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Big Russ there, everybody. Right, we're motoring on. The time's against us, but sure, we'll just keep going until we finish up. Right, does anybody want to talk about Groves against Chudinov? What about you, Tommy? Are you still on the line? Groves, Chudinov?
I think this is going to be George's moment. He's got to be too quick for him. He's got to jab his head off. Chudinov's a good fighter. I actually like both the Chudinovs, but this should be Groves' time. He's going to get this fight. As I say, I think Callum Smith and James DeGale are fighting next, and this is going to be George's moment. He's going to get the title, and they're going to unify after that fight.
Right, so I'm not going to worry about Dave Allen because I know he's down to fight. Is it maybe Cornish or something for the British? If he gets past this, it's going to be a gimme against this Thomas. No disrespect to him. Jamie Cox, Andy, I'm taking you're rooting for him to beat this Lewis Taylor.
Who?
Jamie Cox against Lewis Taylor.
Never heard of that guy, Jamie Cox.
You're Mr. Hated who knocks his missus about?
Aye, I know who he is, mate. He's a fucking prick.
Jimmy Ruslan.
I tell you what, actually, do you think that he's getting lined up to fight the winner of Groves Chudinov?
Possibly. There's a WBA continental title on the line.
It will be a fucking travesty if he walks into a world title fight as such within the next 2-3 fights. Again, I'll need to check the rankings actually to see where he's at, but I don't even think he's maybe ranked actually. Give me 2 seconds here. Blah, blah, blah. He's not. No, he's not ranked. So, be interesting. Just keep your eyes on it, gentlemen. Just see where he is, especially WBA. Just see where he keeps. I would say we'll be in the top 10 after this fight. I'm going to log that right now. He's going to be in the WBA top 10 rankings after beating. What's his guy's name, Steve?
Lewis Taylor. He fought against Sheedy, I think. He fought Eamon O'Kane and he lost to Langford. He's okay.
Did they lose to Eamon O'Kane? I don't rate him.
Yeah, he lost to O'Kane, yeah.
Well, I think I'd probably tell you a bit of levels I'm talking about here then.
Ozzy, tell me about Anthony Fowler. He's making his pro debut. I'm wondering about Fowler. He might end up a little bit like Tony Jeffries, big sort of support, getting pushed, but it's maybe just not quite there for whatever reason.
Well, I was going to say Tom Stalker. That he's got a bit of hype behind him, but then he does absolutely nothing. In all honesty, I couldn't care about Fowler. I think he's a gobshite. It's all about him, some of the stuff he comes out with. Is there an opponent down for him yet?
No.
See, this is what I mean. I don't understand it. These Olympians they've been in the WSB for so long. What's the point in putting them in with these puddings that come over from Hungary? Let's get him in with someone relatively decent test rather than, like, I'll say it again, Pavel Popov from wherever. It's pointless. Time's not on Fowler's side, I don't think, as well. I'm not sure how old he is, but he's not the youngest. He's not turning over at 22, 23. How old is he?
Let me just check BoxRec here. He is born in 91, so he's what, 26?
Oh, he's younger. He's younger than I thought he was, actually. I thought he was 28, 29, but no. You suspect they'll bring somebody over who can't take a shot and he'll be there for the spectacular knockout. Where they'll put him on the card, I'm not too sure, but I've no real interest in the Fowler fight, to be honest.
Hater, tell me about George Groves, Fedor Chudinov. Do you think Groves can do the business? Chudinov has a loss to Felix Sturm. He beat Frank Buglione. He's got a previous win over Sturm. He's okay. Do you think Groves will finally get this world title?
He should do if he comes in shape. I mean, he always just looks so vulnerable, like he's about to get sparked. I really don't care, honestly, if he wins or loses this. If he does, then I mean, because this fight isn't that relevant. Who either wins, I mean, they can continue their career. Whoever loses, I guess they're down to like 8-rounders. But until somebody wins, then I'll be more. The loser, I'm not going to care about. So Groves, win or lose, I don't care. I hope Jamie punches Cox, gets iced, but I'm sure he won't because he's fighting a bum.
Yeah, Chudinov's been out the ring for over a year, so that could be a factor. Dominic, anything off his undercard that interests you?
No, Steve, nothing at all. Well, Groves Chudinov, yes, but apart from that, nothing, no.
Is there anything else you want to comment on before we move on? Did you see Walsh against Davis last night?
I did, Steve. I don't want to, the one thing I want to say is just about, on that, about where Davis goes in the future. Like, it looks like they're going to steer him away from Lomachenko, but to me, I think that fight should happen. He's a world champion. Doesn't matter how young he is. If you're a world champion, you should be. You have to be ready to fight anyone else in the division. But to me, like, you look at the division below, someone like Guy Russell, who's tight at 126, he could move up. That would be a very good fight. 2 southpaws. Russell, exceptional speed. Another fight that they could make is someone like Sosa, Very game, very durable. Obviously he was outclassed by Lomachenko, but most people are going to be. But I think I would just like to see. I think that would be a good gauge of just how hard and explosive and dangerous a puncher Davis is if he could dispatch someone like Sosa in maybe 6-7 rounds. But I think there's a lot of interesting fights for Davis, aside from fighting Lomachenko. But that doesn't mean that I don't think I don't think they should swerve Lomachenko. I think that fight should happen, but I can't see it happening. But just it'd be interesting to see what to do with him going forward, because he's got something about him. He's got a once he gets in there, you can see the look on his eyes. He's got a bit of side to him, and it'd be interesting to see what to do with him.
Anything else you want to add in before we go, Dominic?
There was something. There's two things very briefly, Steve. There's one thing about the referees I was talking about the last time I was on, and 20 weeks, and I watched it there last Monday night. It was up late, and I just put on the Corrales Castillo fight. I know how it was the anniversary the other week there of the.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you bet in my ass. Nothing. Y'all probably getting some pizza tonight.
What the fuck is that?
What is that?
Dave, you watching pornos?
What the freak, Dave?
No, it was a friend of mine doing a live stream. Sorry, I thought that tab's muted.
Well, give us a link then.
It's nothing. It's nothing you'd be interested in, Andy.
Let Dominic proceed. Go ahead, Dominic.
It's just I was just watching that fight, and the thing that struck me maybe about the 6th or 7th time I watched it, but you can't underestimate Weeks' contribution to how good a fight that was. He did break them up sometimes, but only whenever they'd had a chance to work on the inside, and he just even when he was taking the point off Corrales for spitting the gum shield out the second time, he does it so quickly and with such minimal fuss. Some of these guys today are just completely they're just awful. But one thing I want to say, I wanted to ask Andy, how far is Sterling from Edinburgh?
Miles.
Is it? Well, you see, I was ripping because June the 17th, the Ward Kovalev. I'm in Edinburgh. The mate's getting married to Stag Day. I'm going to miss Ward Kovalev, but I was thinking of renting a bike and cycling out to Stirling, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Cycling to Stirling, mate. That's the best part. I mean, that's a minimum.
I'm joking.
That's 40 miles.
I'm joking. No, but I wanted to ask.
You need to put the Lance Armstrong gear for that, like.
I don't know. What's that? Definitely. I need I was going to ask any chance of getting Seb on in the weeks leading up to Ward Kovalev for a lowdown on the rematch.
Did you not hear, mate? Did you not hear the news?
Yeah.
No.
Seb died with overdose.
That's why he come off Twitter and everything. He's gone like he did.
Yeah, you're joking.
No. He OD'd on MCAT apparently. What was here.
It's like in Pulp Fiction. Seb's dead, baby. Seb's dead.
Was that before or after Golovkin Jacobs?
It was before.
That's a pity, because if he would have been in his element if he had been around to see that.
Would that been, mate? But Christ, when was that? No, that must have been. It was.
I was St. Paddy's weekend, 17th of March, 18th of March.
It was. I must have been mid-Feb, I think, mate.
Yeah. But here, just thinking back, like, see that I was just comparing. You talk about best fights you've ever seen. Bo Holyfield won, Corrales Castillo won. On balance, I would have to go for Corrales Castillo. I know it's rare for you see heavyweights like Bo and Holyfield that first fight. It's rare that you see heavyweights producing that sort of tempo of action. But Corrales Castillo, every single round was incredible.
Yeah, it was a great fight, man. It definitely was. Right, Dominic, we'll move on. We'll catch you next week to talk about Brook and Spence. Okay.
Only if you are struggling for numbers, I'll see you. Thanks, anyway, Steve.
See you later.
Take care. Bye.
Right, there's Dominic. Right, what else have we got left? Hopefully not too much. Andrew Selby's fighting on Channel 5 on Friday night against Christopher Rosales. Craig Kennedy against Matty Askin. That'll be a decent fight for the vacant cruiserweight title. And also, it's all the rage to get a female boxer these days. And Chantel Cameron, I've never actually heard of her, has turned pro with Cyclone. She's fighting Karina Kopinska. Mike Alvarado's back. He's fighting Matthew Strode. So good luck to him. Eric Donovan's fighting. He's one to look out for, a good fighter in Dublin next Saturday night. I'm not going down. I'm staying at home to watch Spence against Brook. And Anselmo Moreno is fighting Julio Ceja, a former belt holder. I think Ceja Moreno was as well, over in Panama.
That's the guy who fought Jimmy McDonnell, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's right. He was in Doncaster. Yeah, that was on Premier Sports or Prime Time or something. So good shout there. Right, Andy, before we close out with Bellew of the Week, do you want to give us a shout on these last two cards? Naoya Inoue knocked out Ricardo Rodriguez in the third round, and Milan Melindo stopped Akira Yoigashi in the first round. I didn't even know that.
Didn't see the fights, mate. I've been out today, so obviously these fights this afternoon. I seen the Inoue knockout. I think the guy was overmatched. Actually, in all honesty, I'm really shocked at the Melindo stopping Yoigashi in the first. I need to see it. For what I was reading, Yoigashi got knocked down 3 times in the fight. So that he's usually durable. So Melindo must have really set upon him there. So I'll watch that later on. But the other fights we didn't cover was Kosi Tanaka against Angel Acosta.
Yeah.
Good fight. It was it was live and free on YouTube for us. Like you see the Japanese promoters do it more, get it out on YouTube. Really good quality. 8 AM start it was. Tanaka, defensively, I didn't think he was great as he was in his last fight against Fuentes, but that's not a knock on the guy because Acosta really did try to put it on him, and he was tough, man. I really did think Acosta was going to quit at one point. I had it 116, 111 to Tanaka. I think it might be about the 7th or 8th round. You know, Tanaka had been jabbing and hooking that body right from the first round, really. I think it was about the 7th or 8th round. I really did think Acosta was starting to feel it, and he was going to bail. But you know, fair fucks to the guy. He fought, but he tried to fight his way back in the fight, but he kept taking punishment. But he kept coming forward. He kept, there was no quitting him like his promoter. Like Miko Cotto. He likes to fucking quit and pull out of things and stuff. Well, this guy, he didn't have any quit about him. So fair play. There's no talk about Tanaka possibly having a unification fight at light flyweight. As I says, they're all Japanese title holders down there now. You've got Ken Shiro, Takeuchi is the one that they're basically looking at for unification. He's a WBA champ, and obviously, well, it's actually been erased now because obviously Yoigashi was the other title holder and Melindo's beat him, so there's actually 3 title holders now rather than 4 at light flyweight. But good fight. It's on YouTube. Go and watch it, and as I say, I'll catch up with Inoue and Yoigashi after the podcast.
Thanks, Andy. Last 2 questions. Craig Mastro, Aussie, has asked if Paul Smith Jr. becomes a world champion, does a mega unification fight with Eubank Jr. fill Anfield next summer?
No, it wouldn't fill a phone box. I despise Paul Smith Jr. And funnily enough, Gilberto Mendoza has actually tweeted saying he's awaiting a decision about the Smith-Zoiga fight. So I think it's a case of watch this space, because whatever you've said to him, Andy, I think the penny might have dropped with him, and he's finally sense and this corruption. Touch wood, may come to an end.
To be honest, I think people I see and follow on Twitter and that, they've basically harangued him. Every tweet he sends, they hit him back by Paul Smith question. I put it to him again last night privately. You need to sort this out because if this fight goes ahead, man, you're going to get it right in the neck. And so we'll just need to wait and see. The decision's getting made next week. Hopefully, he intervenes and stops it. But I'm not holding out hope. As I said, I'm not divulging everything that we spoke about, but I hope he's going to make the right decision here, because there's no reason as to how he can jump from number 20 to number 5 or 6, whatever it is, in a matter of like 2-3 weeks. It's impossible.
How funny would it be if Paul Smith Jr.'s own countrymen ended up being the reason his title shot got canceled?
I was going to say that, Dave, yeah. He'd be raging, wouldn't he?
He's always raging at the fans. He hates the fans anyway. He hates boxing fans.
He searches his own name on Twitter and blocks people who have never tweeted him in his life. He's a sad bloke that doesn't have a lot going for him.
We should get him on the pod with us, Ozzy. He'd fit right in.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Right, final question from Toby Hines. He says, what experience does anyone on the pod have for actually boxing themselves at any level? I think we've discussed this before in the past. I was never an amateur or professional or anything, but I used to just do bits and pieces, just keeping fit in the gym and that, pads, bags, bit of sparring. To be honest with you, there was a couple of reasons why I quit, actually. The good thing was about working out in the gym and that was it gives you an appreciation, even sparring at a low level, of like the timing, distance, range, footwork, all those type of things, how difficult it is for the professionals and that. But there was two reasons why I quit sort of boxing. And the first one was because I dislocated my right shoulder and it kept popping in and out all the time, and I had to have it pinned and a metal bolt put in it, and it just wasn't worth it. And the second reason I quit was because I was pretty shit. Kept getting hit in the face all the time, no hand speed, no foot movement, and so that was pretty much it. Andy, you've done a bit, haven't you?
Well, a wee bit. It's not a major, mate. But what really changed it for me, I was supposed to have a fight, and the matter of 3 weeks, my daughter was born and my grandfather died, and everything just went to Pete Tong for there. See, to be honest, it's not until I really have kids you start realising, I'm not going to get deep meaningful here, guys, but once you have a kid and you went through your life being an absolute fucking mentalist, just doing anything you wanted, how you fucking you took and sniffed at whatever you wanted, right? And you get a kid involved, you start thinking about weird shit and stuff. You like dying, you didn't want to leave your kids and stuff, and you take punches and you feel like the headaches and stuff. And you wake up, you wonder to yourself, is it fucking worth it? And then you see guys, actual professional fighters get in the ring, guys like Blackwell, take a fucking hammer, and you think there's nothing wrong with him, but in the background, he just shows you. I've watched a fair bit of NFL recently, some documentaries, CTE being the main thing, the brain injuries and stuff like that. To think some of the risks that we took before we knew the medical science as such, football. I was a left back playing football, and that used to go up and heed the ball all the time. So what injuries have I done to my brain over the years playing sports and that? So it wasn't until, as I say, that I had my daughter and that it started kind of wake my mind up to I can't be doing this shit anymore.
Well, this is quite a timely question because as it happens, I was thinking of dusting the old gloves off even in my advanced years. And a friend of mine, Imran, he runs a company, 3X Sports. They sell professional boxing gear and stuff. I think they've supplied a few of their things to like Irish shows and Malta boxing, that type of stuff. He sent me a head guard and gloves and some hand tape and a gum shield. So you never know, Andy, I could be getting the old brain bleed soon.
To be honest, mate, I've got a wee itch back myself. Actually, I've not done nothing for 3 years, but I'm wasting away, so I maybe need to do something similar, actually.
Hater, have you ever unleashed a combination on a dude?
It's fucking great when you land it sweet though, eh? It's fucking tremendous, like.
Yeah, I miss the feeling of hitting a human. It's been a long time though, like years and years. I hit a heavy bag, not as regularly as I should, but I have one. I have a speed bag. I just do a lot of shadow boxing, pretty much walking around wherever I am in public. It doesn't seem to matter. I just punch the air. Probably take a little bit. I've been wanting to take it a little bit more seriously. I need like a good boxing gym nearby. I want to do some sparring. I don't want to turn pro or anything. I just want to get some rounds in. I want to know more what it's like. I think it would improve me as a viewer of the sport.
Ozzy, will we see you stripping down in weight on the scales anytime soon?
I highly doubt it, but I have considered it. I think the most I've done is it's a bag in the gym. Michael Jennings owns a gym. I think you all remember him. So I've been up to his a few times doing a few classes and bits and pieces and things like that. But I've considered doing one of these white collars just to see what it's like more than anything.
Stay clear of it.
Well, I'd love to be one of these to actually cheat the weight, boil down, and then put on about 4 stone on fight night, and then bully some
Filipino middleweight or something like that.
Yeah, they probably still leather me around though, so I'd do my best to try and cheat the weight. But no, I've got to say, if I was to do it again and say be a younger person, I'd love to get in the gym from a young age because I think it gives people a lot of discipline, and obviously it keeps you fit and things like that. And obviously you can potentially, if you've got the ability, you can go and earn a decent living from it. So I'll be making sure my kid, should I have one, will be in the gym from about 5 and giving me a nice retirement.
Right, boys. we'll get on with Bellew of the Week then, and we'll get the hell out of here with 10 to 11. We're running a monster show on the Asylum tonight. Let's get straight into this. I was going to play a theme tune, but I can't be asked, to be honest with you. I need to go to bed. Right, Jonathan Davis was defending the Smith family on Facebook. He said, they're far from shit. Liam is a former world champion and will be again. Stephen Smith will become a world champion. And the jewel in the crown is Callum Smith. He'll become a unified world champ. And I hope Paul Smith Jr. wins this fight because he deserves it. You must be a current world champ to judge the Smith brothers, eh? Lol.
Fucking hell. That's obviously got by a Scouser, a Scouser that loves the Smiths. That's race. That's just rage. That's shite.
It's probably Paul Smith's alternate account.
Yeah, he's going to probably go and block himself. Right, boxingscene.com. Foley has sent this one in. Kel Brook says, I want revenge. I'd love another tear with Golovkin. Okay, then. Neil Dennehy has said, he was talking about weight shifts. He said, if De La Hoya can fight Hopkins, why can't Burns fight Paul Smith Jr.? Roy Jones and John Ruiz, Kel shaking up Triple G, it can be done.
Oh, no. He's still living off that Kel, that Golovkin punch, yeah.
X1 JTP was on the shit train. Jordan Wills brought this to our attention. He says, Eddie Hearn, I don't know why people hate you. You have given identity to the most humblest and hard-working world champion ever. Hashtag respect. Kurt sent this one in. Tony Bellew, I did what Klitschko couldn't do to David Hay. I can beat Parker. All right, then. Ricky Gravel sent this one in. Bellew of the Week for Kel Brook's T-shirt collection. Did you see this on kelbrook.net? These T-shirts look like they've been designed by a 5-year-old.
They're awful. Absolutely awful.
They were pretty bad. Aaron Robertson, this was sent in by 13 Mike Boxing. Excuse me. Aaron Robinson is defending Paul Smith. He says, shocking amount of people giving Paul stick. The man wants to be challenged. This is a good fight. Okay. Chad Hogan, a.k.a. Brian King, sent this in for V-Man. V-Man said the regular WBA title is the real title. The title has to be defended by contenders who are ranked. The super belt is for looking good. They don't defend that belt. So V-Man is defending the WBA, Andy.
Oh. Give me his Twitter handle and I'll run him off Twitter within 48 hours.
That's Vazdimovsky. I'll have to type that one out for you, I think. But we shall get on him. Norman Shreve sent this one in. Spencer Fearon is retweeting this Monday morning motivation. No procrastination. Go after what you want video. And Russell Bedford tweeted to him and said, I'm using this as motivation for my big interview tomorrow, Spence. I hope Russell got the job.
Yeah.
Michael McAway sent this one in. Insta clean. Loads of folks wanting their garden and decking area clean so they can host parties for the boxing. Cheers for the hard work, Eddie Hearn. Bloody hell, trying to get on the bandwagon there. Insta clean. I can hardly see this one. It's been screenshotted that small. Zach says, Eddie Hearn is such an amazing promoter and an even better bloke. Keep up the graft and amazing fights. Much love. And Eddie Hearn says, cheers, mate. Oh, dear, they're getting worse. I liked this one. Chadders sent this in for Tony Tizer Purvis. Tony met up with Tony Bellew, and then he tweeted him afterwards saying, Tony, forgot to ask you at the Newcastle show, what's that aftershave you had on?
Seen that was
Jeez.
And he got thrown off the call for laughing there. Hopefully we'll get him back on again. This was a favourite one of mine, sent in by Lee. A number of people sent this in, actually. Bellew of the Week, done and dusted. They said Anthony Yard is a mixture of Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson all rolled into one. Bellew of the Week for Matthew Hatton. He's got on his Twitter handle, the former undefeated. We had a laugh about that one a while back. Ben O'Connor. Welcome back, Andy.
Cheers, mate. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Just back in time for a Bellew of the Week nomination for you, actually, Andy, on the Facebook page from Ben O'Connor last week. You said that Norbert Nemesapati is from Hungary.
Norbert who?
You said that Norbert Nemesapati is from Hungary instead of Hungary. A couple of people picked up on that one.
All right. Well, listen, last week I was semi-pissed, so what do you expect? Give me a break. Yeah, you could come up here and do this shit. I bet you'd be fucked if I drink, yeah? Cunts. I'll take the nomination.
The Dark Lazarus sent this one in. Boxing Matters put up on their Facebook page, Britain's best nearly men, the best fighters from Britain not to win the world title. And they had Matthew Macklin, George Groves, Martin Murray and Paul Smith. Harold Graham or Michael Watson, Andy?
No. No, none of that. It was it Matt Murray? Who was the other one? Paul Smith. Holy fucking suffering jumping fuck.
Rocco sent this one in. Hope Rocco's okay. I haven't heard from him for a while. IFL London. Mayweather would probably beat the three of us in the ring, but on the cobbles, forget it. Says Michael Walsh. On the cobbles. ES Boxing News says Joshua is the best pound for pound star in the world. ES, that's Ellie Sekbak, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me then for him coming up with that one. Boxing Kingdom said Dubois versus Howe is on next. The Dubois versus David Howe fight was just about to start. I actually think Howe, if he's on his game, can provide some kind of test. Said Boxing Kingdom. About 30 seconds later, Howe was knocked out cold. Oh dear. Chris Blackman has nominated Floyd for the Rascal jacket. Craig Mastro, Dave Howe's chin and Mayweather's jacket. Mikey Hugh says, let's have a look. What does he say? Possibly two world champs in the Smith family. Who are you looking at fighting next, Liam? And Liam says, I'm fighting Williams again in September. Daniel Fraser says, good stuff, mate. Don't have us sweating like last time. Put some money in those gloves. Fucking hell. Nomination for Bunce from Willie X. Steve Bunce said, when you're on an undercard of a guy from Sweden named Badu Jack, you're not the heir apparent yet. I think you got that one wrong, Buncey. There's a load this week. Dominic Henry has nominated Gaz Tyson Slater. He says, Miguel Cotto, go and sign with Eddie Hearn. Come to the UK, mate. Make some proper dough and get involved in the best fights.
10 million guarantee he's probably on to,
Craig Mastro and a number of others nominated Michael Walsh for saying at the end of the fight to Gervonta Davis they want the return fight in Las Vegas. Yeah, I don't think so. David Odell sent that one in as well. Seconds Out on YouTube put up a video saying brutal body shot from Anthony Lard versus Chris Hobbs.
Anthony listen, he would be Lard if he fucking just dropped the weights for a while. Fucking hell, that guy is fucking solid. Oh dear. The fake Dan Raphael sent this one from the actual ESPN. Callum Smith will face Andre Dirrell for the vacant world title. Lestin Venables asked a question earlier: who is the more despicable family, the Smiths or the Dirrells? I think we answered that one. The Smigger, what do you call him? Smido did with his poll. Brian King sent this one in. Tevin says Ward has more technical ability than Floyd and Lomachenko. Technically, when it comes to the sweet science, Andre Ward is better than both. He's like poetry in motion, so effortless. And Tevin also said, Brian sent this in, Ricky Hatton, old feather-fisted self, he couldn't beat up a pillow. He reminds me of the guy Tank beat, Walsh, all bark and no bite. So basically Liam Walsh and Ricky Hatton. No. And finally, BJ Flores has thrown himself into the mix. Fraser Quendo, I'll fight you. I'll love to step in now that Shannon Briggs has been busted for steroids. Oh, that's all I've got. Hater, have you got any?
Yeah, I got a couple. Some of them stem from some out-of-the-ring antics. First, first of all, the Gervonta Davis Liam Walsh fight before it, the Box Nation guys in the studio were all saying like, well, what if this turns out to be just like Calzaghe Lacey? Apparently, this is something they always say, like before an American and a Brit fight. Well, obviously, it didn't turn out to be anything like that. I don't think they're ever going to forget that fight. I mean, it's going to be they're going to be saying this is going to be like Calzaghe Lacey for the next 30 years. Also, related to that fight, we talked about it before. Floyd did, in fact, take a beard to the face. Someone named Charlotte Cook at Charlie Cook XX on Twitter has shared this video of Floyd exiting the arena and some big splatter of beer smashed him right in the face. So a value of the week for the British fans. They really did put on a fairly poor welcome, and being butthurt is no way to win. Also, value of the week for Leon Lawson, I believe his name is. Yes, Leon Lawson, that's the name of Dirrell's uncle who socked Uzcategui.
Yeah, Leon Lawson Jr. Yeah.
And a value of the week for several people involved in this situation. Clarissa Shields is one of them.
Oh, fuck.
She said she's from Flint, so she's got some big bias here, I guess. She said, great job, Unk, referring to Lawson and his behavior. And I guess she received some blowback from that. So on Facebook, she said, clowns in all caps. I promise. 5 clown face emojis. I wish I could punch some of y'all in the damn face hard. Seeing that shit in person had an effect on me. Little heartbroken emoji. Only reason I'm even sane right now is because Andre is safe, man, and in good health. # period. Don't come talking to me about the fight. Don't trigger me. None of y'all. So she had like a little meltdown about this. And then there's this this fellow I met on Twitter.
Dave, we're losing you. We're losing you a bit. We're losing you a bit, Dave.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a guy I met on Twitter earlier today. His name is @poundaway. Health over everything, even though he looks like he's about 5 or 6 months pregnant. He's been defending the actions as well of Leon Lawson. He said he should not be arrested. He was justified. Why would I waste my time on your clown-ass show? You got no followers. You are irrelevant. He has 67 followers, by the way. He also said that all of Team Walsh should be arrested for the beer being thrown on Floyd, but Leon Lawson shouldn't be for actually throwing a punch.
Thanks for that, Dave. Sorry, Dave, I think it was me hearing you rather than your sound, so apologies for the untimely interruption. Any other nominations?
Mr. Padilla and who's the other?
Hubert Earl.
Aye, those two. That's the only two that I've got.
Ozzy,
I got one more, actually.
Oh, go ahead, Dave, first.
Well, it's sort of a accumulation of Paul Smith's various antics throughout, because this week the famous hashtag Paul Smith Jr. blocked me because was spreading across Twitter, boxing Twitter at least, like wildfire, and we all participated in it, I think, because we've all been blocked by him. And some of the answers on there are pretty good. I mean, you have to bring it out.
Ozzy, any nominations?
Yeah, I've got one. Dan Brockhill on Twitter, Big D Balls 87, and it follows the show last night. Frank Warren TV, your shit. Eddie Hearn runs boxing. Daniel Dubois is a stiff bum, and you make the whole country, spelt HOLE, look weak and like fools. I'm cancelling my Box Nation subscription and only watching Sky Sports Boxing. Frank Warren, you're destroying our boxing with your bums. Then at Eddie Hearn, mate, you get a lot of stick, including from myself, but Frank Warren, Box Nation, our dog and pony show, would you put that on? Now, I actually thought last night was a very good card, so...
He actually put that in 140 characters, right?
Oh, this was over about 4 tweets. This I've gone all over his thingy. And then another one, the announcer on from the show last night when he was announcing the result of the Davis fight, said that he retained his super flyweight IBF title. So I think it went under the radar, that and all the thingy. But yeah, he said he retained his super flyweight rather than the super feather.
It's not an easy job, Ozzy, but I thought the announcer was a little bit nervous. He started sort of shaking and shouting a little bit towards the end, which is understandable, but...
That guy was like, he tried to be the English Bruce Buffer last night.
I actually thought he's okay. I agree it's a difficult job, but anything's an upgrade from Mark Burdis. He usually does. I despise that guy. I think he's awful.
Yeah. They've been using Alex Steedman recently, haven't they? As well?
Yeah, I don't really think it's a job for him, to be honest. But I liked the guy last night. He did the opening PT show, and he went through pretty. He was unnoticeable, which I think is always a good thing. But I'm surprised they've not brought Jimmy Lennon Jr. over here. I think he's always a good one to bring over.
Yeah. Final, I'll throw my hands up. Oh, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
We were talking about Dab Dab earlier in the show. He attacked me for complaining about the guys throwing beer on Mayweather, and it appears he has had a meltdown and either deleted his Twitter account or been removed yet again. He's gone.
Oh, R.I.P. Dab Dab. Yeah, I'll throw myself in for the spirit of things for mixing up Dubois and Anthony Yard earlier, so that'll be me. Right, I'm going to go for BT Sports, Andy. I think that you missed it earlier. They said Mayweather, Tyson and Jones combined are what Anthony Yard is at the moment, so I'm going for them. Who are you going for?
Oh, aye, mate. Take that. I'll take that.
Dave?
Yeah, I'll take that one too.
And Ozzy?
Yeah, same.
Good man. Well, congratulations, BT Sports. You're doing a good job with boxing. You are the Bellew of the week. Right, that's going to have to do. I've had a few people sending in Twitter and Facebook questions while we're live and asking me to read them out. But guys, I just can't be bothered anymore. And I'm sure the lads are the same. We need to get the hell out of here. It's been over 3 hours. We haven't got the stamina for this game anymore. I'd like to thank everybody who's come on. Ozzy Smith is still with us. Andy Patterson and Dave, the hater Lowback, a bit of a skeleton crew. We had Rob Kelly on earlier. Big Russ was on. Adam Smith, Tommy the Guru Allen. Thanks to Harry and Callum. We'll hopefully get them back on again. And Dominic. Who else came on? Is there anybody else I'm missing? Don't think there is there? No. We haven't had Donny this week. We'll hopefully get him back on next week. Yeah, Kell Brook and Errol Spence next week. I'm hoping to do a post-fight pod, to be honest with you. So everyone get themselves lubed up and get prepared. As soon as the fight finishes, we shall go live. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll speak to you all next week. Bye.
We belt anyone.